Chapter 1719. This old man is the son of the Qin Emperor. To be able to follow this old man is your great fortune. Emperor Hong smiled proudly and formed a seal with both hands. Soon, a blood-colored mark appeared. This was the blood soul technique. The blood soul technique was not a rare secret technique. As the former emperor of Great Qin and the son of the Qin Emperor, it was not strange for him to know the cultivation method of the blood soul technique. The son of the Qin Emperor, at the same time. Hearing Emperor Hong's words, Wu Jiao's eyes flashed with a hint of suspicion. Why does this name sound so familiar? Suddenly, its eyes trembled, and it said in surprise, "The Qin Emperor you are talking about, is it Qin Badian?" Emperor Hong was taken aback for a moment and said in surprise, "I didn't expect that a mere beast like you actually knows the name of my late father." Wu Jiao said, "You are the son of the Qin Emperor, then who is Qin Feiyang to you?" N? How do you know Qin Feiyang? Could it be that he has entered the second level? Emperor Hong frowned. That's right. At this time, a cold voice sounded. Not far away in the void, Qin Feiyang and Yu Huang appeared out of thin air with the castle. Emperor Hong immediately raised his eyebrows. "Yu Huang, shatter the Emperor Divine Prison for me." Qin Feiyang shouted, his face incomparably cold. "Yes." Biming Yu Huang laughed. She immediately brought the ancient castle and entered the divine prison. With a loud bang, the Emperor Divine Prison shattered on the spot. After escaping, Wu Jiao quickly retreated to Qin Feiyang's side. Emperor Hong was so angry that he glared and shouted, "You evil creature, in front of this old man, you dare to be presumptuous." "Evil creature," Qin Feiyang murmured. In his eyes, there was a fierce light. "You actually dare to scold Boss Qin, old bastard, are you looking for death?" Biming Yu Huang was enraged. She brought the ancient castle and rushed towards the clear emperor. "Even your master doesn't dare to do anything to this old man. Who do you think you are?" Emperor Hong snorted coldly. The five-clawed golden dragon under his feet opened its wide mouth and rushed towards Yu Huang. "Who am I? You'll know soon enough." Yu Huang cackled, and the ancient castle flew towards the five-clawed golden dragon. With a loud wail, the five-clawed golden dragon dissipated. Immediately after, the ancient castle streaked across the sky, slamming into Emperor Hong's chest. Puff! Emperor Hong immediately spat out a mouthful of old blood. Like a meteor, he flew out horizontally, his old face pale. His chest had caved in and was badly mutilated. This was under the condition that Yu Huang showed mercy. If it didn't hold back and revive the castle, this instant would be enough to shatter Emperor Hong's bones. "Do you still dare to scold Boss Qin?" Yu Huang recalled the ancient castle, looked coldly at Emperor Hong, and said. Emperor Hong's face darkened. After stabilizing his body, he ignored Yu Huang and looked directly at Qin Feiyang. He angrily rebuked, "Condoning your own subordinate to attack your great-grandfather, aren't you afraid of being punished by the heavens?" "What? This man is Qin Feiyang's great-grandfather?" Wu Jiao was stunned. "Great-grandfather? Heavenly moat?" Qin Feiyang muttered to himself and sneered, "To be honest, I have never admired a person as much as I admire you. If it was me, I would never say such a thing, but you can say it so matter-of-factly. I want to ask you, where is your face?" Emperor Hong's 10 fingers clenched tightly together. "Also, Yu Huang is not my subordinate, and I am not his master. We are brothers, friends. Even though you are my relative, I will not allow you to humiliate him." Qin Feiyang said again. He, calling a ferocious beast brother, yet not acknowledging his own great-grandfather. The rumors of the world are indeed true. You are an unrighteous, unfaithful, and unrighteous beast. Emperor Hong sneered again and again. "I am unrighteous? I am unfaithful and unrighteous?" Qin Feiyang raised his head and laughed out loud. He wasn't laughing at Emperor Hong. He was laughing at himself. After paying so much, what he got in return was unrighteous, unfaithful, and unfilial. Boom! All of a sudden, a monstrous divine might roared out from his body. Pseudo-god. Emperor Hong's pupils shrank. That's right. You all want me to die, but not only did I not die, but I also broke through to the pseudo-god realm. So, the heavens are fair. Although it has made me lose a lot, it has also made me gain a lot. As for you, hand over the tree of good fortune immediately and get out of my sight. Qin Feiyang shouted. You, Emperor Hong glared at him. Qin Feiyang's eyes turned cold, and he said word by word, I don't want to say it a second time. If you want the tree of good fortune, come and get it yourself. This old man wants to see if you have the ability to do so. Emperor Hong didn't compromise at all. As you wish. Qin Feiyang soared into the air. When he brushed shoulders with Baiming Yuhuang, he grabbed the ancient castle and rushed towards the clear emperor. You think you can do whatever you want after breaking through to the pseudo-god realm. Let me tell you, don't be too naive. Emperor Hong shouted angrily, his aura surging as he slammed his palm into the air. Boom! A wave of divine power emerged, turning into a huge wave, carrying a shocking killing intent as it rushed towards Qin Feiyang. It's you who is naive. Killing you is as easy as turning my hand. Just now, if it weren't for my face, Yu Huang would have already ended your old life. Qin Feiyang's eyes were cold to the extreme, 3 kinds of pseudo-god power poured out and poured into the castle. Clang! The ancient castle's divine power erupted like a volcano. He didn't retreat at all and directly faced it head-on. The ancient castle attacked. Boom! Emperor Hong's divine power instantly disintegrated. However, the impact of the collision between the ancient castle and the divine power also made his body tremble violently, and purple gold dragon blood spurted out wildly. But he didn't take a step back. Unfolding the walk character, he appeared behind Emperor Hong in an instant, holding the ancient castle, and smashed it towards Emperor Hong's head. What? So fast. Emperor Hong was shocked, and without hesitation, he controlled the battle sword and slashed towards the ancient castle. Seeing this, Qin Feiyang's eyes were full of ridicule. Opening the armor, he grabbed the battle sword. Clang! The armor and the battle sword rubbed against each other, creating dazzling sparks. Even Qin Feiyang could clearly feel that the armor on his palm had been cut open by the battle sword. This meant that the level of the battle sword was indeed higher than the armor. Thank you for your gift, I will accept it. Qin Feiyang smiled coldly and directly put the battle sword into the castle. Damn it! As soon as the battle sword entered the castle, Emperor Hong lost contact with the battle sword. This made him both shocked and angry. At the same time, Qin Feiyang stepped out of the walk character again and appeared in front of Emperor Hong. Raising his hand, he slapped Emperor Hong's face fiercely. A blood-red palm print suddenly emerged. A trace of divine blood overflowed from the corner of Emperor Hong's mouth. He touched his red and swollen face, looked at Qin Feiyang in disbelief, and said, You actually dare to slap this old man? Qin Feiyang took a few steps back, and said indifferently, This slap is for my ancestor. To have a son like you, from my ancestor, is a very sad thing. Shut up. You disgraceful beast, the name of my late father is a humiliation from your mouth. Emperor Hong roared. Whatever you say, I'm too lazy to bother with you. No. To be exact, I disdain to bother with people like you. Hand over the tree of good fortune immediately, and I'll spare your life. Qin Feiyang said. If you have the ability, then kill me. Let's see how the world will curse you. Emperor Hong shouted. Do you think I care about this? Do you really think I don't dare to make a move against you? Qin Feiyang was so angry that he laughed, took out the Phoenix Divine Blade, and slashed out like lightning. Emperor Hong did not expect that Qin Feiyang really dared to make a move. In a panic, he hurriedly dodged to the side. Gotcha! With one slash, blood splashed into the sky. An arm was chopped off. Qin Feiyang sneered and said, "Aren't you not afraid of death? What are you hiding for?" Emperor Hong's face was gloomy. He took out the tree of good fortune and threw it to Qin Feiyang, saying, "One day, you will be punished by the heavens. Just you wait." "I'll wait," Qin Feiyang said indifferently. Emperor Hong gave Qin Feiyang a dark look, then turned around and left dejectedly. Yu Huang and Wu Jiao rushed to Qin Feiyang's side, looked at Emperor Hong's back, and then looked at Qin Feiyang. Just what was the relationship between these two people? Why was it so hard to understand? A moment later, Qin Feiyang let out a long sigh, retracted his gaze, turned his head to look at Wu Jiao suspiciously, and said, "How do you know me?" Wu Jiao hurriedly said, "It's what Lord Guardian said." "Brother Hua?" Qin Feiyang was taken aback. "He's actually brothers with Lord Guardian?" Wu Jiao's heart trembled, and his expression became even more respectful as he said, "Some time ago, Lord Guardian personally issued an order. The Beast Emperor on the second floor, no matter who sees you, is not allowed to make things difficult for you or hurt you. So that's how it is." Qin Feiyang came to a realization and said with a smile, "Then wouldn't I be able to run amok on the second floor now?" Wu Jiao was stunned, and said with a wry smile, "Although these words sound uncomfortable, it's also the truth. This fire python is really good to you. With this order, it will be much more convenient for us to do things on the second floor in the future." Yu Huang thought to himself. "Yeah. In the past, I was still worried that when it found out that its father was related to me, it would find trouble with me. But now, it has already become a guardian, and its methods can be said to be heaven-defying. However, not only did it not make things difficult for me, it even helped me in every way. From this point, it shows that you beasts are indeed easier to get along with than some humans." Qin Feiyang sighed. Wu Jiao was slightly taken aback, and said to Yu Huang through voice transmission, "Is Qin Feiyang not having a good time in the human world? Aren't you asking the obvious? Look at how his great-grandfather treats him, let alone other humans." Yu Huang thought to himself. "Why is that? Although I just met him and know nothing about him, to be able to call Lord Guardian brother is enough to show that his character is definitely not a problem." Wu Jiao was puzzled. "I'm not sure either." Yu Huang thought to himself. Wu Jiao pondered for a while, and suddenly seemed to have thought of something. Looking at Yu Huang and Qin Feiyang, he asked, "The movement over there just now, was it caused by you too?" This, Qin Feiyang and Yu Huang looked quite embarrassed. "It's really you too." Wu Jiao shook his head helplessly and said, "If you want the tree of creation, just say it. For the sake of Lord Guardian, I'll give it to you. Why do you have to come up with so many tricks? Isn't it boring?" Qin Feiyang and Yu Huang smiled bitterly. It was indeed boring. But there was no other way. Because before this, they did not know that the fire python had told the beast emperors on the second floor in advance. Chapter 1720. Yu Huang glanced at Wu Jiao, then looked at Qin Feiyang and said, "Since Lord Jiao Emperor has said so, shall we accept it? It's hard to refuse such kindness." "Of course." Qin Feiyang chuckled. "You're really not polite." Upon seeing Qin Feiyang and Yu Huang singing the same tune, a look of disdain appeared in Wu Jiao's eyes. Qin Feiyang chuckled and sent the tree of creation to Ling Yunfei's castle. Then, he looked at Wu Jiao and asked, "Have you seen other humans in the past 2 years?" "Other humans?" Wu Jiao pondered for a while and shook his head. "Other than you and your great-grandfather, I haven't seen anyone else." "Great-grandfather," Qin Feiyang murmured. Wu Jiao asked suspiciously, "Brother Qin, what's the situation between you and your great-grandfather?" Qin Feiyang remained silent. "Boss Qin, I'm going to say something that I shouldn't say. Although you seem to hate your great-grandfather on the surface, you still miss him in your heart." Yu Huang said. How could that be? Qin Feiyang shook his head. Don't deny it. If you really don't miss him, why did you let him go earlier? You should know that you had a chance to kill him just now. Yu Huang said. Wu Jiao raised his eyebrows and said telepathically, it's good that you know it. Why do you have to expose it? Yu Huang was stunned. He quickly looked at Qin Feiyang and said, just pretend that I didn't say anything. Qin Feiyang smiled and said, I admit that I actually still have a trace of hope. Yu Huang and Wu Jiao looked at each other, then looked at Qin Feiyang and waited for him to continue. You don't know what I've been through. You don't know how much I want to have a complete family. However, these things are very common in the eyes of ordinary people, but to me, they are a kind of extravagant hope. Therefore, even though Emperor Hong was heartless to me, I still respect him from the bottom of my heart. I hope he can see my intentions. I don't expect him to treat me like family, but at least he doesn't treat me like an enemy. Qin Feiyang sighed. Upon hearing this, Yu Huang and Wu Jiao could not help but let out a long sigh in their hearts. Let's not talk about these things. Qin Feiyang waved his hand. He looked at Wu Jiao and asked, I heard you mention my ancestor's name. Do you know him? Wu Jiao said emotionally, who in the second floor doesn't know the name of Qin Badian? Wait. I remember Brother was saying that back then, the fire dragon joined forces with the ferocious beasts on the second level to deal with my ancestor. Could it be that you're also involved? Qin Feiyang frowned. Wu Jiao went silent for a moment, then said, to tell you the truth, this emperor was indeed involved. Qin Feiyang clenched his fists, a cold glint in his eyes. Boss Qin, don't be rash. Wu Jiao is only following orders. The fire dragon is the real culprit. Yu Huang saw that the situation was bad and hurriedly sent his voice to calm him down. Brother Qin, I know you want to kill me right now. But you have to understand that I have my own difficulties. A ferocious beast like me is nothing in this miracle. But then again, your ancestor was truly an amazing person. Back then, all the beast emperors on the second floor were mobilized, but they still couldn't kill him. If he hadn't used his thaumaturgy to save his subordinates and lost his cultivation, I'm afraid we would have been killed by him. Wu Jiao shook his head and sighed. Thinking of that battle back then, he couldn't help but break out in cold sweat. That was truly thrilling. After living for so many years, this was the first time he saw such a terrifying human. Huff. Qin Feiyang took a deep breath and nodded. I can understand your situation and the other beast emperor's situation back then. Every injustice has its perpetrator and every debt has its debtor. Don't worry, I won't cause trouble for you. Thank you for your understanding, Brother Qin. Wu Jiao said gratefully. Qin Feiyang said, tell me about what happened to my ancestor back then. Wu Jiao had personally experienced that battle back then, so he definitely knew more than the fire python. Okay. Wu Jiao nodded and recounted the events of that year in detail. Time flew. That afternoon, Qin Feiyang said goodbye to Wu Jiao and returned with Yu Huang. Boss Qin, I didn't expect your ancestor to be such a person. He's so great and admirable. Yu Huang said with admiration. Yeah. As his descendant, I'm honored. Qin Feiyang nodded. In fact, what Wu Jiao said was roughly the same as what the fire python said, but it was more detailed and specific. In short, the culprit was the fire dragon. Yu Huang asked, then should we prepare to enter the third level? Enter the third level? Qin Feiyang was stunned. Back then, your ancestor led his subordinates into the third level, so I think he must have left some clues there. If you want to find him, you have to follow these clues and continue to search. Yu Huang said. Qin Feiyang said, but didn't he appear in the ancient world again? This is what we're looking for. How did he enter the ancient world? Why did he enter the ancient world? Yu Huang said. Qin Feiyang pondered. After a while, Qin Feiyang shook his head and said, there's no hurry to find my ancestor for now. The first thing we have to deal with is the threat of Great Qin. Mu Tianyang? Yu Huang asked. Not only Mu Tianyang, but also Zhuge Mingyang. And even the so-called demon ancestor behind Zhuge Mingyang. Only by dealing with these people can I be at ease to find my ancestor. Qin Feiyang said. Yu Huang nodded. Suddenly, its eyes turned and stopped in the void, looking at Qin Feiyang and said, I suddenly remembered something, you go and meet up with old Zhao and the others first. After saying that, without waiting for Qin Feiyang's response, it turned and flew away. Qin Feiyang was stunned, turned to Yu Huang, and asked, What's the matter? It has nothing to do with you. Yu Huang didn't even turn her head as she spoke. Qin Feiyang said angrily, Then you have to tell me, when are you coming back? I'll go back when I'm done. It shouldn't take long. After Yu Huang finished speaking, he disappeared from Qin Feiyang's sight. What's going on? Qin Feiyang scratched his head, looking puzzled. In the blink of an eye. 3 days passed. Qin Feiyang finally returned to the square, landed in front of the stone gate, and glanced around, a trace of suspicion in his eyes. Zhao Tailai, Tang Hai, where are the undead? Didn't they say they would meet here? Why is there no one here now? In his heart, he couldn't help but worry. Although Zhao Tailai and Tang Hai have both stepped into the war god realm, but on the second floor of the miracle, these two early-stage war gods are nothing at all. As for the undead, he was not too worried. It was not that he had no feelings for the undead and did not care about her life or death. It was because the strength of the undead was originally very strong, coupled with her undead body. I'm afraid that even a low-stage war god may not be able to hurt her. Wait. Isn't there an enslavement seal? Qin Feiyang suddenly patted his head, closed his eyes, and quickly sensed Tang Hai's position through the enslavement seal. Soon, he sensed Tang Hai's position. The west. Being able to sense the position proved that he was fine. And Tang Hai was still rushing here at this moment. Since Tang Hai was fine, then Zhao Tailai should also be fine. After all, Zhao Tailai was also a very cautious person. Calm down. He took out that battle sword. 3 feet long, 3 fingers wide battle sword, as white as jade, exuding a threatening edge. The blood contract of this battle sword was still there. With his cultivation base, he definitely couldn't erase it. After all, Emperor Hong had stepped into the war god realm. So he could only wait for Zhao Tailai and Tang Hai to come back. But he had to admit that his luck this time was really good. Not only did he get a tree of good fortune, but he also got a divine weapon comparable to the divine phoenix blade. On the contrary, his great-grandfather, this time it could be said that he suffered a double loss. Not only did he not get the tree of good fortune, but he also lost a powerful divine weapon. And he got it. Probably now, somewhere, he was vomiting blood in anger. Buzz. But suddenly, the battle sword in his hand buzzed and trembled, trying to break free and fly away. At the same time, strands of astonishing sword chi shot out. Qin Feiyang was shocked. He hurriedly opened his armor and held the battle sword tightly. He lowered his head and looked at the battle sword, his eyes full of surprise. How could this battle sword be revived? No. He quivered and hurriedly sent the battle sword to the castle. Following closely, divine sense rolled out, pouncing in all directions. Immediately, he turned around abruptly and looked at the forest in front of him to the right. There, he caught a spatial divine object. Qin Feiyang said in a deep voice, "Come out." Swish. Not long after his voice fell, an old figure appeared out of thin air. Who else could it be but Emperor Hong? Qin Feiyang sneered, the dignified Emperor Hong, actually sneaking behind a junior, don't you find it shameful? Emperor Hong said, give me back the heavenly great sword. So it's called heavenly great sword, Qin Feiyang muttered and sneered, do you think it's possible? Emperor Hong said coldly, You have no choice. No choice? Qin Feiyang was stunned. Emperor Hong shouted, I'm your great-grandfather, this is an order. When Qin Feiyang heard this, he immediately burned with anger and roared, don't mention anything about great-grandfather to me, ask yourself honestly, have you ever treated me as your great-grandson? Emperor Hong said expressionlessly, this is your own fault, you can't blame this old man. I only have myself to blame. Then I'd like to ask, what exactly did I do wrong? Qin Feiyang was so angry that he laughed instead, and said, You've done so many heartless things in the imperial capital, and even killed your own brother. Isn't this your own fault? If you hadn't done this, would this old man not recognize you as my great-grandson? Emperor Hong said. Hee hee, haha, Qin Feiyang laughed out loud, looking a little crazy. What's wrong? I have nothing to say. Emperor Hong sneered. Since you've already said so much, what else can I say? I might as well tell you directly, Heavenly Great Sword, don't even think about it. If you have the ability, come and snatch it yourself. The corner of Qin Feiyang's mouth lifted, his eyes full of contempt. All right. Don't regret it. A cold light flashed in Emperor Hong's eyes, and his divine might erupted. Chapter 1721. Following closely. A surge of divine power emerged, carrying an astonishing murderous aura, pouncing towards Qin Feiyang. Qin Feiyang looked at the surging divine power and did not move at all. It was as if he was waiting for death. What do you mean? Emperor Hong raised his eyebrows. Qin Feiyang turned a deaf ear, his hands tightly clenched together. Boom! That divine power, without any pause, directly blasted onto Qin Feiyang's body. The terrifying destructive power instantly drowned him. You actually didn't fight back, are you looking down on this old man? Emperor Hong immediately said angrily. When the dust settled, he saw Qin Feiyang still standing on the ground, motionless. But the armor on his body had been shattered. His whole body was full of shocking wounds, bleeding non-stop. If it wasn't for the armor to help him block the bombardment of divine power, he would have died by now. His face. It was also soaked in blood. However, it couldn't hide his expression at this moment. It was a touch of self-deprecation. He lowered his head, and his clenched hands were also bleeding. But these injuries couldn't be compared to the pain in his heart at this moment. He shook his head with a smile, looked up at Emperor Hong, and said, I didn't fight back, not because I looked down on you. Then why? Emperor Hong said angrily. Actually, I have always had fantasies about you. I wanted to see if you would really kill me. The result is obvious, it's my wishful thinking. If it wasn't for the armor, I would be lying on the ground now. It was you who buried it with your own hands, my last bit of respect for you. You were also the one who personally shattered the last bit of hope I had left. Qin Feiyang murmured. His voice was very small. Rather than saying that he was talking to Emperor Hong, it was better to say that he was talking to himself. Emperor Hong sneered, then are you heartbroken now? Heartbroken? A little. But more than that, I was heartbroken. Qin Feiyang sighed. Emperor Hong shouted angrily, I don't care if you're heartbroken or not, quickly hand over the heavenly great sword. You still want the heavenly great sword now? The corners of Qin Feiyang's mouth slowly curled up. He pursed his lips into a mocking smile and said, You'd better think about how you're going to endure my wrath first. Without the help of that spirit snake, what are you? Emperor Hong said disdainfully. All right. Then, let's settle the grudge between you and me in the way of enemies and enemies. Battle formula, activate. Qin Feiyang suddenly roared. His hair and eyes instantly turned blood red. A monstrous battle intent roared out, shaking the clouds. Clang. He directly brought out the ancient castle, his feet stepping on the walk character, rushing into the sky, attacking Emperor Hong. How disgraceful. Emperor Hong roared. A golden square seal appeared in the sky. The square seal could be as big as a palm, as if it was cast in gold. There was a 5-clawed golden dragon carved at the bottom. It was lifelike and exuded an astonishing dragon's might. This is the golden dragon seal. This old man created it based on the divine dragon seal. Today, I'll let you die with understanding. Emperor Hong's old hand suddenly waved. The golden dragon seal soared into the sky. In an instant, it was like a great mountain, carrying the power to destroy the world. It blasted towards Qin Feiyang. Qin Feiyang's eyes were like lightning. Raising his arm, he threw it out of the ancient castle. Accompanied by a loud rumble, the ancient castle and the golden dragon seal collided fiercely. The golden dragon seal was immediately shattered. Just as so. Qin Feiyang smiled contemptuously. He grabbed the ancient castle and continued to attack Emperor Hong. The divine art was broken. Emperor Hong spat out a mouthful of blood on the spot. He wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth and looked at Qin Feiyang. I really didn't expect that the ancient castle would be strong to this extent. There are still many things you can't imagine. A hint of killing intent flashed across Qin Feiyang's eyes. The ancient castle mercilessly smashed towards Emperor Hong. Emperor Hong laughed and said, "The world is unpredictable. There are indeed many things you and I can't imagine." N? Why are you still laughing? Qin Feiyang was surprised. Not good. A fatal crisis came from behind. Qin Feiyang's body and mind tightened, and he wanted to enter the ancient castle without hesitation. However, it was still a step too late. A huge force blasted on his back. He immediately spat out a mouthful of blood, smashing into the ground below like a meteorite. Boom! A huge pit appeared. And at this moment, there was one more person beside Emperor Hong. It was also an old man. His aura was on par with Emperor Hong. Qin Feiyang got up with difficulty. The bones in his back were broken, and his internal organs were also severely injured. However, the vitality of the cedar was helping him repair his injuries. Last time. In order to help him, the cedar had almost exhausted its vitality. But after this period of recuperation, the cedar had already recovered a lot of vitality. Of course. In the face of a sudden sneak attack, he was able to survive not only by relying on the cedar, but also the battle character's secret art. Seeing that Qin Feiyang could still get up, Emperor Hong's expression was rather surprised, and said, "You're not dead even like this, you're really lucky." "That's right. I just can't die, are you in a hurry?" Qin Feiyang laughed mockingly, got up and looked up. At that moment, as if he had seen something incredible, his face was instantly filled with bewilderment. The old man beside Emperor Hong, whether it was height, body shape, or perhaps cultivation, was exactly the same as Emperor Hong. It was as if they were carved from the same mold. The only difference was that the old man had a head of blood hair, and his eyes were also blood red. His entire body was emitting an astonishing aura of hostility. He was too familiar with this kind of hostility. It was the inner demons. "You actually..." Qin Feiyang looked at Emperor Hong, swallowed his saliva, and said in shock, "You actually have inner demons too?" "That's right. This old man also has inner demons. He is this old man's inner demons. But he is different from your inner demons." Emperor Hong said. "How is it different?" Qin Feiyang frowned. Emperor Hong said, "He is already an independent person, with flesh and blood." Flesh and blood. Qin Feiyang was shocked by the inner demons Emperor Hong. Inner demons Emperor Hong looked at Qin Feiyang and laughed, "You are his great-grandson, which is also my great-grandson. Are you satisfied with this greeting gift?" "Satisfied, very satisfied." Qin Feiyang stepped into the sky step by step, his aura becoming more and more terrifying. This sovereign, Emperor Hong, this inner demons, has indeed become an independent person. In other words, they are now two war gods. You have to be careful. The voice of the inner demons suddenly sounded in Qin Feiyang's mind. Qin Feiyang thought, inner demons can condense flesh and blood? Yes. When you break through to War God, I can also condense flesh and blood, but I have to go through the baptism of heavenly tribulation. Inner demon said. So that's how it is. Qin Feiyang muttered. Forget it, let me come out and fight side by side with you. After saying that, the inner demons immediately appeared beside Qin Feiyang. Yeah. Seeing Qin Feiyang's inner demons also appear, a trace of surprise crawled up Emperor Hong's face, and said, since there are both inner demons, then let's fight this sovereign, inner demons against this sovereign. With that, the inner demons Emperor Hong immediately charged towards the inner demons Qin Feiyang. I'll accompany you to the end. This sovereign, give me the ancient castle. The inner demons snatched the ancient castle from Qin Feiyang's hands and charged towards the inner demons Emperor Hong without retreating. Boom! The two met in an instant. Although the inner demons Emperor Hong had the cultivation of War God, the inner demons Qin Feiyang also had the ancient castle, and overall, he was still suppressing the inner demons Emperor Hong. Let's begin. Without the ancient castle now, let's see how you can fight this old man. Emperor Hong looked at Qin Feiyang, killing intent surging in his old eyes. Then let's try. Without the ancient castle, he was indeed not Emperor Hong's opponent, but he would definitely not back down. Clang! He took out the divine phoenix blade and faced Emperor Hong. Emperor Hong swept his gaze over the phoenix divine saber and said in surprise, not bad, this divine artifact can virtually contend with the heavenly grand sword. However, if you think that by relying on it, you can defeat this old man, then you're gravely mistaken. Emperor Hong waved his hand, and divine power roared, sweeping through heaven and earth, shattering the void. Slash! Qin Feiyang roared, 3 types of false god power madly poured into the divine phoenix blade, and the divine phoenix blade's divine power sword. He raised the divine phoenix blade high and slashed down. Blade light after blade light shattered mountains and rivers. Boom! The divine power disintegrated bit by bit. The divine phoenix blade was also trembling violently. Qin Feiyang's hands almost couldn't hold it. The web between his thumb and index finger was cracked, blood flowing. One could imagine how great was the force of the collision between the divine power and the divine phoenix blade. Finally, Qin Feiyang spat out a mouthful of blood, flying out horizontally. Emperor Hong waved his hand, and that terrifying divine power rushed towards Qin Feiyang like an avalanche. I don't believe that I, who have a heaven-defying divine art, am still not your opponent. Qin Feiyang was uncomfortable, and raised his hand to slap. Golden light burst out, drowning the sky, and collided with the divine power. Return. Boom. The two were in a deadlock in the void for a moment, and that divine power suddenly turned in the air, drowning Emperor Hong, who was caught off guard. Ah, a painful scream immediately resounded through the sky. Qin Feiyang was stunned. It could really reflect divine power? Sure enough, it was a heaven-defying divine art. He took advantage of the victory to pursue. The divine phoenix blade crazily recovered, and slashed in the air. Swoosh! Immediately, a shocking blade light cut through the sky, and slashed towards Emperor Hong's head. Roar! In a moment of life and death, Emperor Hong activated his battle soul. The 5-clawed golden dragon rushed out from behind, very powerful, and instantly tore the blade light apart. Immediately after, the golden dragon roared in the sky, and pounced towards Qin Feiyang. Humph! A mere battle soul, and you dare to be presumptuous in front of me. Qin Feiyang shouted angrily, and the return appeared again. Roar! Boom! The golden light and the 5-clawed claw collided in the sky, in a deadlock. Emperor Hong came out of the golden light, looked at Qin Feiyang, and said, "Your strength really surprises this old man more and more." His whole body was already dripping with blood. After that, His hands quickly formed a seal, the golden dragon seal appeared, and the divine power rolled, suppressing Qin Feiyang. Surprised now? Then wait, don't be scared out of your wits. Qin Feiyang smiled sinisterly. Beside him, one by one, Qin Feiyang continued to appear. 3,000 incarnations. In an instant, 100 incarnations appeared, and roared in unison, return, kill. 100 incarnations, activating the return at the same time. What kind of scene was this? Golden light illuminated the sky, like a golden sea, rolling towards Emperor Hong. Boom! Kacha! That golden dragon seal, without the slightest resistance, was instantly reflected back. Boom! The golden dragon seal also blasted on Emperor Hong's body in an instant, and blood splashed across the sky. Emperor Hong's whole body was a mess of flesh and blood, and the wound was so deep that bones could be seen. The golden light was like a tide, unstoppable. Seeing this scene, Emperor Hong finally couldn't help but change his expression, and a hint of panic flashed in his eyes. Chapter 1722. So what if you broke through to the War God realm? I'll still kill you. Qin Feiyang's blood-red hair fluttered. That golden wave was unstoppable. Don't be arrogant. Golden dragon roar. Emperor Hong was also bristling with anger. He was actually defeated in the hands of a junior one after another. His self-esteem took a serious blow. Accompanied by a deafening dragon roar, a golden dragon appeared out of nowhere. It was more than 10,000 feet long, and it kept roaring towards the sky. Invisible sound waves shattered the void and earth, pouncing towards Qin Feiyang. Qin Feiyang was taken aback. This move seemed to be similar to the second move of the Divine Dragon's secret art, Divine Dragon Roar. Rumble. The sound wave and the golden wave met, and the sky changed color. Destructive air waves, with the two as the center, flooded out in all directions. Tens of thousands of miles away, they were all affected. What happened? One by one, fierce beasts rose into the air, looking at the sky above the entrance. Among these fierce beasts, there were many beast emperors. Isn't that Qin Feiyang? It seems to be him. His appearance is almost exactly the same as what Lord Guardian described. Wait a minute, his opponent is actually an initial stage god of war. This human brat is indeed powerful, to be able to fight so fiercely with a war god. No wonder even Lord Guardian calls him brother. The group of beast emperors were shocked. Should we go and help? Lord Guardian has instructed that if this Qin Feiyang encounters trouble, we have to try our best to help him. A beast emperor said. Looking at the current situation, it seems that we don't need to take action. Let's wait and see. When he's really no match, it won't be too late for us to take action. Another beast emperor said. Puff. Above the entrance. After a moment of stalemate, the sound waves were finally no match for the heaven-defying divine art. They all changed sides and pounced on Emperor Hong. Emperor Hong once again suffered a devastating blow. This old man refuses to accept this. Emperor Hong was now somewhat flustered and exasperated. Rumble. A golden statue of a deity appeared in the clouds. The statue's figure and appearance were exactly the same as Emperor Hong. You are truly shameless. You actually used your own appearance as the form of the deity technique. Do you want to be like your ancestor, leaving behind an ancient legacy for the people of the world to admire and worship? Unfortunately, you can't do it. You will only go down in infamy for 10,000 years. Qin Feiyang sneered. Cut the crap. Today, I will take your life. Emperor Hong roared. The golden statue was like a giant mountain as it rushed towards Qin Feiyang. The world-destroying divine might shattered the void and the earth. Want to take my life? Very good. Give him a taste of his own medicine. Qin Feiyang's eyes turned cold as he waved his hand in the air. The 100 incarnations waved their arms as well. The return formula appeared once again. Dazzling golden light flooded the void. Rumble. The moment the two met, a deafening sound immediately exploded in this world. Amazing, truly amazing. The surrounding ferocious beasts were dumbfounded. A mere false god was actually able to suppress an elementary stage war god. In the world, there was probably only this child. After more than 10 breaths. The statue was also no match for the return formula. Emperor Hong was once again fatally injured. Both arms were shattered. On his body, there were 2 or 3 bloody holes, penetrating from the front to the back, and blood flowed like a stream. Now, do you think I have the ability to kill you? Qin Feiyang stood proudly. The 100 incarnations were like a rainbow, as if a war god had descended to the world, causing countless ferocious beasts to tremble in fear. Looking at the current Qin Feiyang, Emperor Hong finally couldn't help but change his expression, and a hint of panic flashed in his old eyes. Seeing this, the inner demon's Emperor Hong transmitted his voice, "Deity, the situation is not good, quickly retreat." Retreat? Aren't you telling me to escape? I am the son of the Qin Emperor, and the great-grandfather of this little beast. You want me to escape in front of him? If this spreads out in the future, how can I face others? Emperor Hong said angrily. If you don't escape, you will die. Your choice. The inner demon's Emperor Hong snorted coldly. Emperor Hong's eyes were gloomy. Qin Feiyang looked deeply at Emperor Hong and sighed, "It's time to end this. I will let you die in front of the ancestors, as my last respect for you." Boom! Purple gold dragon Qi appeared. One statue after another appeared. 100 incarnations, 100 statues. Including Qin Feiyang himself, there was a total of 101 statues. 101 statues, lying in the sky, their purple gold divine light illuminated the sky. The entire world was shrouded in a terrifying emperor's aura and divine aura. The emperor. Below the Qin Emperor, all were ants. That's Qin Baishan's statue. The beast emperors also recognized the statue at a glance, their eyes filled with fear. Father, Emperor Hong looked up at the 101 statues, his heart uncontrollably filled with awe. This is the true inheritance of the ancestors. Then your golden dragon seal, golden dragon roar, they are just appearances. Accept your death. Qin Feiyang spoke, his tone was emotionless, as if he was judging someone unrelated to him. Clang! The 101 statues raised their broken swords at the same time, their sharpness exploding and sweeping in all directions. Facing the Qin Emperor's statue, Emperor Hong was trembling, forgetting to counterattack, even forgetting to run for his life. Kill! Qin Feiyang roared. 101 god statues immediately charged towards Emperor Hong. From afar, it looked like a group of divine soldiers descending from the heavens, menacing and terrifying. The inner demon's Emperor Hong was also panicking, ignoring the inner demon's Qin Feiyang. He rushed at Emperor Hong. Aren't you arrogant? The inner demon's Qin Feiyang chuckled, then threw out the ancient castle. With a bang, the ancient castle smashed into the back of the inner demon's Emperor Hong's head. The inner demon's Emperor Hong immediately let out a miserable howl, his head almost shattered, blood gushing out. However, he ignored it and continued to teleport, rushing towards Emperor Hong. The inner demons laughed sinisterly, grabbed the ancient castle, and chased after him. Seeing that Emperor Hong was about to lose his life under the broken swords of the 101 statues, an old man suddenly appeared behind Qin Feiyang. And in his hand, he was holding a bone-chilling dagger. The one who will die today is not Emperor Hong, but you. The old man smiled sinisterly, and the dagger suddenly pierced into Qin Feiyang's back, entering his Qi Si. Qin Feiyang's Qi Si was destroyed on the spot. With the Qi Si destroyed, the 100 incarnations immediately dissipated. The 101 statues also disintegrated one after another. This sudden turn of events not only caught Qin Feiyang and the inner demons off guard, but even Emperor Hong and the inner demons did not expect it at all. When they came back to their senses, they hurriedly looked over. "It's you." The inner demons' expression immediately changed. Emperor Hong and the inner demons, on the other hand, revealed looks of joy. The old man glanced at the two of them, then looked at the inner demons, Qin Feiyang, and said, "That's right, it's Imperial Tutor." Right. The person who suddenly ran out to ambush Qin Feiyang was the current Imperial Tutor. After the Imperial Tutor finished speaking, he pulled out the dagger in his hand and landed in front of Qin Feiyang. He grabbed Qin Feiyang's neck and sneered, "You didn't expect it, right? Imperial Tutor is also here. I really didn't expect it. However, you, one Emperor Hong, one Imperial Tutor, actually like to do this kind of sneak attack. How laughable." Qin Feiyang said. "The winner is the king, the loser is the bandit. The process is not important, the result is important. Don't you understand this point?" The Imperial Tutor sneered, turned his head to look at Emperor Hong, and said, "Lord Emperor Hong, tell me, how do you want to deal with him?" Emperor Hong looked at Qin Feiyang, his face gloomy. Suddenly, he took a step forward and landed in front of Qin Feiyang. With a raise of his hand, he slapped Qin Feiyang's face fiercely. "This slap is to teach you that you must know how to be filial." As he spoke, Emperor Hong slapped Qin Feiyang's face again, and said, "This slap is for your parents, you inhumane beast." After receiving the first slap, Qin Feiyang did not have any reaction. But when Emperor Hong mentioned his parents, he was immediately enraged and shouted, "Shut up! The one who should shut up is you." But just as he said that, the Imperial Tutor suddenly exerted force, and the rest of his words, Qin Feiyang was unable to say anything else. Emperor Hong slapped Qin Feiyang's face again on the spot, and said, "This slap is for your disrespect to this old man. Let me tell you, my Qin clan will never have a descendant like you." Qin Feiyang clenched his fists tightly, his nails sinking into his flesh and blood flowing out. Emperor Hong closed his eyes and let out a long breath. He turned to look elsewhere and said to the Imperial Tutor, "Deal with it as you see fit." The Imperial Tutor smiled sinisterly, stared at Qin Feiyang, and said, "Little bastard, this is the result of going against us. In your next life, be careful, don't offend people you shouldn't offend." Qin Feiyang looked at the Imperial Tutor, his eyes deathly still. This gaze actually made the Imperial Tutor feel afraid. He immediately flew into a rage out of humiliation and roared, "Go to hell! How dare you!" But at this moment, accompanied by a deafening shout, a giant black tiger with a body of more than 10 meters rushed in front of the Imperial Tutor. The Imperial Tutor was shocked. Emperor Hong and the inner demon's Emperor Hong also looked at the giant black tiger in surprise. "Huh," Qin Feiyang and the inner demons laughed. Whoosh! Following closely, another dozen or so beasts rushed over and surrounded the Imperial Tutor and the other two. What's going on? The Imperial Tutor, Emperor Hong, and the inner demon's Emperor Hong were all bewildered. The giant black tiger said, "If you dare to kill Qin Feiyang, this emperor dares to guarantee that none of you will leave this place alive." "That's right. Let him go immediately, or else you will become enemies with all the beasts on the second floor." Did you hear that? This emperor's patience is limited. 2 initial stage war gods dare to attack Brother Qin, they really don't know life from death. The most important thing is that it's still a sneak attack. Even we, the beasts, can't stand it. The other beast emperors also opened their mouths, their huge pupils filled with disgust. "Everyone, did you get the wrong person? We didn't offend you, what are you doing?" The Imperial Tutor hurriedly said. "You didn't offend us. But you offended Brother Qin. Offending Brother Qin is equivalent to offending us." The giant black tiger said. "What the hell is going on? This little beast, he hasn't been on the second floor for long, how can he be brothers with these beast emperors?" The Imperial Tutor, Emperor Hong, and the inner demon's Emperor Hong's minds were in a mess. 3 chapters, please vote. Chapter 1723. Hey, hey, hey. Why aren't you letting go of Brother Qin? Do you have to force us to make a move? Let me tell you, if you let us make a move, the consequences are not something you can bear. A group of beast emperors clamored unscrupulously. The 3 of them had gloomy faces. The imperial preceptor hardened his heart and pinched Qin Feiyang's neck hard, and shouted, "Get out of my way, or else I'll kill him." Yo! You actually dare to threaten us? This old man has guts. Then hurry up and kill him. Anyway, we will help Brother Qin take revenge. The group of beast emperors remained unmoved, nor did they have any intention of moving aside. This time, the imperial preceptor was in an awkward situation. Originally, he wanted to use Qin Feiyang to escape, but these beast emperors were not threatened at all. But if he were to let Qin Feiyang go like this, it would be like letting a tiger return to the mountain. Qin Feiyang's strength was obvious to all. He was still in the pseudo-god stage, and he could already compete with the early stage war god. If he were to break through to the early stage war god stage, wouldn't he be able to kill them in an instant? Moreover, even if they let Qin Feiyang go now, these beasts might not let them go. Did you see that? This is my character. Good luck. Even these untamed ferocious beasts are willing to help us. The inner demon's Qin Feiyang stood beside the giant black tiger, glanced at the 3 of them, and sneered. The 3 of them glared at him angrily. The inner demon's Qin Feiyang said contemptuously, "I have thousands of troops behind me, what else do you want?" The inner demon's Emperor Hong said angrily, "If you have the ability, fight me one-on-one. Weren't we fighting one-on-one just now? It was you who ran away. Now that you see that the situation isn't right, you came to fight me one-on-one? Are you stupid, or am I stupid?" The inner demon's Qin Feiyang had a look of disdain on his face. The inner demon's Emperor Hong was so angry that his beard blew and his eyes widened. The Imperial Grandmaster transmitted his voice, "Don't talk to him, he's purposely angering you so that he can find a chance to catch all of us in one go. This little bastard, I'll destroy him sooner or later." Emperor Hong of the inner demons coldly snorted. "Why aren't you saying anything? Come. Let's exchange some pointers." The inner demons, Qin Feiyang, began to clamor. The inner demon's Emperor Hong glanced at him, then looked at Emperor Hong and the imperial advisor, and said angrily, "This little bastard is too infuriating. Leave immediately, or else I won't be able to hold back." The state preceptor glanced at the surrounding beasts. Suddenly, he picked up Qin Feiyang and threw him to the ground. The beast emperor's expressions changed as they hurriedly flew toward Qin Feiyang. Almost at the same time, Emperor Hong and the inner demon's Emperor Hong arrived in front of the imperial preceptor. In the next moment, the 3 of them disappeared. However, there was only one person who didn't move. He was the inner demon's, Qin Feiyang. This was because he had already guessed that the imperial tutor and the other 2 would definitely play some tricks. Sure enough, the imperial preceptor threw Qin Feiyang down. Because Qin Feiyang had lost his cultivation, everyone would instinctively worry about him and then follow him down. In this way, the imperial preceptor and the other 2 could take advantage of this opportunity to enter the space divine object and escape. Therefore, the inner demon's attention had always been on the imperial preceptor and the other 2. Seeing the 3 of them disappear, he immediately released his divine sense, locked onto the space divine object, and then grabbed the castle and smashed it toward the space divine object. However, after all, Emperor Hong was a war god. The speed of controlling the space divine object was also the speed of the war god. And the inner demons, with only the cultivation of the false god, how could they compare to Emperor Hong? Before he could catch up, Emperor Hong had already controlled the space divine object and fled. Damn it! The inner demons flew into a rage. Although he had seen through the thoughts of the imperial preceptor and the other 2, he still couldn't stop them. This feeling of powerlessness made him very angry. Forget it. At this time, Qin Feiyang was on the ground below, looking at the inner demons and said. The inner demons landed beside Qin Feiyang and said angrily, "We absolutely can't let it go like this. There will be a chance in the future. You can't catch up with us now." Qin Feiyang said, took out a spirit sea pill and swallowed it. The inner demons rolled his eyes and looked at the beast emperors surrounding them. The group of beast emperors immediately retreated. The inner demons raised his eyebrows and said in dissatisfaction, "What do you mean by this?" "Nothing. Just don't have any ideas about us, we can only help you." The black giant tiger said. "Why? Haven't you heard of a saying, help people to the end, help Buddha to the west?" The inner demon said. "If we help you, it will naturally be easy to find their traces. But doing so will break the balance. The Lord Protector only instructed us to only act when you're in trouble. I think you should all be clear about the Guardian's concerns, so don't make things difficult for us." The group of beast emperors said. "I understand." Qin Feiyang nodded, cupped his hands and smiled, "Thank you, everyone. I will never forget today's kindness." "It's nothing, you're welcome. If you have any difficulties in the future, feel free to come to us. You take care of your injuries, we won't disturb you. Brothers, let's go." The black giant tiger shouted, and the group of beast emperors immediately dispersed. Soon, only Qin Feiyang and the inner demons were left here. "Emperor Hong, this damn old man, is really ruthless. Not only did he give you 3 slaps, he even wanted to kill you. I really want to kill him right now," the inner demons said coldly. Qin Feiyang's eyes also surged with a cold light and said, "This debt will be paid back sooner or later, don't worry." "All right, you recuperate, I'll leave." After the inner demons finished speaking, he returned the castle to Qin Feiyang and entered the inner world. Qin Feiyang put away the ancient castle and glanced around. Then, he staggered towards the entrance. "What's going on? Boss Qin, why are you still injured?" Suddenly, Yo Huang's exclamation sounded. Qin Feiyang turned his head to look, only to see Yu Huang flying towards him while scanning the devastated land, his eyes filled with bewilderment. "You still know to come back? Do you know that I almost lost my life?" Qin Feiyang glared at it fiercely, then turned around and continued to walk towards the entrance. "What the hell is going on? Speak, this emperor will uphold justice for you." Yu Huang rushed to the front of Qin Feiyang, looked at Qin Feiyang, and said with righteous indignation, "I'm afraid you don't have the ability." Qin Feiyang rolled his eyes at it, walked to the side of the square, and scanned the square and the stone gate. After such a terrifying battle, the square and the stone gate were still intact. "Boss Qin, tell me, which bastard is it? This emperor won't stop until I've destroyed his entire family," Yu Huang said angrily. Qin Feiyang rolled his eyes, and said, "If you really want to destroy his entire family, then kill me first." Yu Huang was stunned. What did he mean? Wait a minute. He seemed to have thought of something, raised his eyebrows, and asked, "It can't be that great-grandfather of yours again, right? Who else could it be besides him? However, we've all underestimated him," Qin Feiyang said. Underestimated him? Yu Huang was stunned, and looked suspiciously at Qin Feiyang. Qin Feiyang said, "He also has inner demons." What? Yu Huang was shocked. Qin Feiyang briefly explained the situation at that time. Damn, I really didn't expect that this old bastard would be so difficult to deal with. After hearing this, Yu Huang was shocked. So, you have to hurry up and cultivate. With your current cultivation, when the time comes to fight, you will only become a burden to us, Qin Feiyang said. TSK. Yu Huang laughed disdainfully, and said, "If I can't deal with Emperor Hong, then this emperor will deal with the imperial preceptor." Qin Feiyang said, "He has also broken through to the war god realm." Yo Huang's body stiffened, and asked, "Are you sure?" "Of course." Although he didn't release his aura at that time, I could feel it. Qin Feiyang said in a deep voice. The Imperial Preceptor stepping into the War God realm was definitely a done deal. The Imperial Preceptor, Emperor Hong, and an inner demons, Emperor Hong, 3 war gods, this was not easy to deal with. Yu Huang was stunned for a moment, then suddenly quivered, and hurriedly said, "Then this emperor should hurry up and cultivate, so as to not become cannon fodder when the time comes." After saying that, it roared in high spirits. "When this emperor breaks through to the war god realm, you don't even need to do anything, this emperor can kill them all by himself." Ugh! Qin Feiyang was stunned. Where did this guy borrow the courage to say such arrogant words? Yu Huang smiled mysteriously, and said, "Just wait and see, send this emperor to the castle." "All right, I'll wait." Qin Feiyang nodded, and with a wave of his hand, Yu Huang immediately disappeared. How strange. Why did it suddenly become so confident? Qin Feiyang frowned. This was not like Yu Huang's personality. Time was like sand between fingers, and night gradually fell. Qin Feiyang's qi had been repaired. At this moment, he stood on the square, scanning the gradually darkening night sky, his brows tightly knitted together. What exactly were Zhao Tailai, Tang Hai, and the undead doing? Late at night. Because of the battle during the day, the surrounding tens of thousands of miles were silent. Shwa! Suddenly, a black shadow silently appeared beside Qin Feiyang. Qin Feiyang didn't notice it at first, and the black shadow didn't make a sound. When he saw the black shadow, he was shocked. Taking a closer look, it turned out to be the undead. "I say, why don't you learn the good things, but choose the bad ones? Can you not be like Tang Hai, appearing beside me without saying a word?" Qin Feiyang said angrily. The undead still didn't say anything, but threw a Qinkuan bag to Qin Feiyang. "What is it?" Qin Feiyang was suspicious. The undead pointed to the Qinkuan bag, indicating that he should look at it himself, and then turned to look elsewhere. So arrogant? Qin Feiyang was speechless. He lowered his head to look at the Qinkuan bag, and his eyes suddenly lit up. This Qinkuan bag was filled with a large bag of medicinal materials. And each medicinal material was extremely precious. Qin Feiyang asked, "Did you collect all this these days?" The undead nodded. "And you're giving it to me now?" Qin Feiyang asked. The undead nodded again. "Thank you." Qin Feiyang hurriedly thanked him, and then sent the Qinkuan bag to the castle and handed it to Dan Wangkai. Then he looked at the undead and said with a smile, "I didn't expect you to be a warm-hearted person." The undead ignored him and stood silently on the side like a lonely walker. In the middle of the night, Tang Hai also quietly appeared beside Qin Feiyang. "I have a bad temper." Qin Feiyang was completely annoyed. Why didn't he change? But just as he was about to lose his temper, Tang Hai threw him a Qinkuan bag without saying a word. Looking at the things in the Qinkuan bag, Qin Feiyang suddenly extinguished his anger, but his face was still full of smiles. Chapter 1724. The heaven-earth pouch that Tang Hai gave him was also filled with Y materials. Go. However, it was not just any Y material. It could be said that it was countless times more precious than the ones given to him by the spirits. That was because the heaven-earth pouch was filled with spiritual infant fruits. That was right. They were the spiritual infant fruits used to refine the spirit congealing pill. The heaven-earth pouch was filled to the brim. It was hard to imagine how many there were. Qin Feiyang suppressed the surprise in his heart and looked up at Tang Hai. He asked, "Did you find all of these?" "Isn't that obvious? What I gave you must have been found by me." Tang Hai said, "What about the spiritual infant trees? Since there are so many spiritual infant fruits, there must be many spiritual infant trees too." Qin Feiyang said. "I didn't take them." Tang Hai said. What? You didn't take the spiritual infant trees? Do you know what we lack the most? The spiritual infant fruits. Although you brought back a lot of spiritual infant fruits, there are so many of us who need to cultivate. How is it enough? Only by getting the spiritual infant trees can we solve the root problem. Do you understand? Qin Feiyang said. I understand, but I don't have any spatial divine items. Tang Hai said. If you don't have any spatial divine items, you can keep them in your heaven-earth pouch first. Why can't you be more flexible? Big brother. Qin Feiyang sighed helplessly and said, where are the spiritual infant trees? Take us there immediately. It's very far. There's also a beast emperor guarding it. Tang Hai said. That's not a problem. Qin Feiyang said. You're not afraid, but I am. Tang Hai said. Qin Feiyang's face darkened with anger. Tang Hai rolled his eyes and took out a heaven-earth pouch without saying a word. He threw it to Qin Feiyang. Qin Feiyang caught the heaven-earth pouch suspiciously. He looked down and was instantly excited. There were 2 spiritual infant trees in the heaven-earth pouch. They were quite thick, and the tree Ji was half a basin thick. Wait! He raised his head and looked at Tang Hai. His face darkened as he said angrily, are you playing with me? Tang Hai took out another Qinkuan bag and threw it to Qin Feiyang. Qin Feiyang took a look and saw that there were 2 spiritual infant trees as well. Next. Under Qin Feiyang's astonished gaze, Tang Hai took out one Qinkuan bag after another. There were 2 spiritual infant trees in each cosmos sack. Some of them only had 1 cosmos sack. However, such nascent soul trees were all enormous. A Qinkuan bag could only hold 1 stalk. In the end. Qin Feiyang looked at the 10 Qinkuan bags in his arms and glared at Tang Hai angrily. He had counted, and there were a total of 25 spiritual infant trees. I'm just teasing you. Tang Hai said. The veins on Qin Feiyang's forehead suddenly bulged. Seeing that the situation was not good, Tang Hai quickly changed the topic. He glanced at the undead next to him and asked, Old Zhao hasn't come back yet? No. Qin Feiyang shook his head and looked at the Qinkuan bag in his arms. He snorted coldly and said, I won't argue with you this time, but if you dare to play with me like this again, then don't blame me for being rude. I wouldn't dare. Tang Hai lowered his head and said. Although he could not see Tang Hai's expression, he could tell from Tang Hai's eyes that he did not take his words to heart. Qin Feiyang turned to look at the undead and asked, Do I have no prestige? The undead did not answer. Tang Hai also looked elsewhere, as if he did not hear it. Qin Feiyang shook his head helplessly and took the spiritual infant fruits into the castle. He told Dan Wangkai to refine the spirit congealing pills for everyone to refine. Then he entered the Black Tortoise realm again and pondered. There were so many spiritual infant trees. If they were to be planted in Ling Yunfei's space divine item, he would not be at ease. Because Ling Yunfei's space divine item was relatively fragile. If he was not careful, it could be destroyed in the J War. If the space divine item was destroyed, then these spiritual infant trees would also be destroyed. The Black Tortoise realm was different. Because the Black Tortoise realm was a true small world, there was no need to worry about it being destroyed. Looks like I have to find a place in the Black Tortoise realm and open up a plot of land. Qin Feiyang muttered, closed his eyes, and concealed his perception. Suddenly, his perception entered the Devil's Mountain range. He could not help but be stunned. Wasn't this Devil's Mountain range a very good place? The Devil's Mountain range was one of the 4 forbidden areas of the Black Tortoise realm. It was surrounded by the River of Erosion, and ordinary people did not dare to step into it. It sank a little. Qin Feiyang's figure flashed and instantly appeared in the central area of the Devil's Mountain range. Below, there were layers upon layers of mountains and lush trees. And right below, there was an ancient square. This place was the entrance to the Black Tortoise realm. This place feels pretty good. Qin Feiyang landed in the center of the square and scanned his surroundings. This was the first place he entered the Black Tortoise realm, and it had a very special meaning. Good. This is it. If you say G, then G, never. Rumble. With a wave of his hand, the area within a radius of 10,000 miles was razed to the ground, and countless beasts fled in panic. This action immediately alarmed the other 9 beast emperors in the Devil's Mountain Range. In the central area of the Devil's Mountain Range, there were a total of 10 pseudo-god realm beast emperors. The Golden Panther had already left, so there were only 9 left. Who is so bold to come to our territory and cause trouble? Brother, let's go cripple him. In order to protect their dignity, the 9 beast emperors immediately moved, aggressively flying towards Qin Feiyang. Qin Feiyang did not know for the time being. Even if he knew, he was not in the mood to care. He took out the nascent soul tree from his Qinkuan bag and planted them on the ground one by one. Moreover, he also entered Ling Yunfei's spatial divine item and used his power to move the tree of creation, nascent soul tree, and various Y materials to the Black Tortoise realm. Not long after, a Y field was formed. The air was soon filled with a G of rich Y fragrance. Not bad. Qin Feiyang nodded. He then entered Ling Yunfei's spatial divine item and moved the blood-devouring bees, as well as countless beehives, and placed them on one side of the Y field. Standing in the middle of the square, Qin Feiyang glanced at the Y field and the blood-devouring bees. It seemed that something was missing. Yes. A home. In the future, this would be his base camp, so he must have a home. He actually created a Y field here? Did he ask for our permission? He must have eaten a leopard's guts. This is no longer causing trouble, this is snatching our territory. Who is it? Come out with us. The 9 beast emperors flew over at this time, and when they saw the Y field below, they were immediately furious. Qin Feiyang heard the voices of the 9 beast emperors, and he could not help but be stunned. Then the corners of his mouth lifted slightly, and said, just in time. Swoosh. He took a step forward and instantly appeared in front of the 9 beast emperors. It's you? The 9 beast emperors looked at Qin Feiyang and asked suspiciously. That's right, it's me. From now on, you guys will stay here and help me guard this Y field. No one is allowed to set foot in it. Qin Feiyang said. What the hell? You want us to guard Y field for you? The 9 beast emperors were stunned. Yes. Qin Feiyang nodded. Kid, do you know who we are? Opening Y field in our territory, and still guarding it, are you sure there's nothing wrong with your brain? The 9 beast emperors immediately laughed. Qin Feiyang was stunned, and said in amusement, then do you know who I am? Do you know whose territory you're standing on right now? How would I know who you are? Cut the crap, take these Y materials and get the hell out of here. No. Leave these Y materials behind and get lost yourself. The 9 beast emperors waved their claws and said impatiently. Qin Feiyang was stunned and asked curiously, didn't the Golden Panther mention me to you? Are you that awesome? Why should he mention you? The 9 beast emperors' eyes were full of disdain. I see. Qin Feiyang suddenly realized that the 9 beast emperors didn't know that the Black Tortoise world had changed owners. What are you mumbling over there? I told you to get lost, didn't you hear me? Don't think that we won't dare to mess with you just because you're a fake god. In this place, even if you're a divine dragon, you still have to coil around us, understand? The 9 beast emperors' nostrils were raised to the sky, and they were all incomparably arrogant. Qin Feiyang joked, then what if I'm the ruler of the Black Tortoise world? You? You human, it seems that there's something wrong with your brain. And it's not light. Otherwise, why would you say such stupid things? The 9 beast emperors immediately laughed. I'm stupid? The corner of Qin Feiyang's mouth raised. With a wave of his hand, the Black Tortoise World's rule force suddenly descended from the sky and enveloped the 9 Beast Emperors. The 9 Beast Emperors' eyes suddenly widened as they scanned the rule force around them, full of shock and doubt. Qin Feiyang said, "Now tell me, am I stupid or are you stupid?" "That's impossible." The 9 Beast Emperors shook their heads. "Let me introduce myself. My name is Qin Feiyang, the current owner of the Black Tortoise World. In other words, you all are now living in my territory. And the Golden Say Divine Leopard has now followed me." Qin Feiyang said. "You're Qin Feiyang." The 9 Beast Emperors looked at Qin Feiyang in shock. "Yes, that's me. Even you know my name, it seems that my reputation in the Black Tortoise World is not small." Qin Feiyang said. "That's not nonsense. Now in the Black Tortoise World, who doesn't know your name? However, are you really the owner of the Black Tortoise World? Why didn't we hear about such a big thing?" The 9 Beast Emperors were shocked. Qin Feiyang said, "I deliberately blocked this news. As for whether I'm the owner of the Black Tortoise World or not, isn't this rule force the best proof?" The 9 Beast Emperors looked at each other and immediately ran in front of Qin Feiyang, crying, we're sorry. We really didn't know about this. Isn't it just guarding the Y fields? That's too simple. You can rest assured and leave it to us. We guarantee that we'll take care of it properly. Lord Ruler, look at our offense just now. Can we just let it go like this? The ancients also said that the ignorant are not guilty, right? The 9 Beast Emperors smiled flatteringly. What a joke. Was the Black Tortoise World's ruler someone they could afford to offend? Hurriedly apologizing was the right way to get leniency. Chapter 1725. Looking at the 9 Beast Emperors trying to please him, Qin Feiyang couldn't help but want to laugh. He said with a straight face, "Not only do you have to guard the herb field, but you also have to build a home for me here." "Home? Is it for us to live in?" "We don't need it." The 9 Beast Emperors were stunned and asked. Qin Feiyang's face darkened, and said, "It's mine." "So it's yours." The 9 Beast Emperors smiled embarrassedly and asked, "Then do you want something low-key or luxurious? Do you want a tall palace or a simple building?" "Low-key. Simple." Qin Feiyang said. "Understood. I guarantee that it will be arranged properly for you." The 9 Beast Emperors patted their chests and vowed solemnly. "Then I'll wait and see." Qin Feiyang smiled and left the Black Tortoise realm. "Young master." A familiar voice immediately sounded. Qin Feiyang turned his head and saw Zhao Tailai standing next to Tang Hai, looking at him. Qin Feiyang asked suspiciously, "Why are you only back now?" Zhao Tailai said, "I found a very strange place, so I was delayed for a while." Qin Feiyang was stunned and frowned. "What strange place?" "A big canyon." This subordinate discovered the aura of a seal in the canyon. Zhao Tailai said. "Seal?" Qin Feiyang was surprised. "Yes." Zhao Tailai nodded and said, "But when I entered the canyon to search, I couldn't find the source of the seal." "Seal?" Qin Feiyang pondered. "Why would there be a seal on the second level? Where is it?" Qin Feiyang asked. "East, south. It's very far. With my speed, it will take me 3 days to get there." Zhao Tailai said. Qin Feiyang thought for a while and looked at the two with a smile. "You two go and rest first. I'll go and see Zhuge Mingyang." "What about the seal in the canyon?" Zhao Tailai asked. "When we have time, we will go and investigate. I will first ask Zhuge Mingyang what the demon ancestor wants me to do on the second level." Qin Feiyang said. "All right. Along the way, I also found quite a few medicinal herbs." Zhao Tailai nodded and took out another cosmos sack. "Hand it over to Dan Wangkai." Qin Feiyang glanced at the Qingkuan pouch and said with a smile. He then escorted Zhao Tailai and Tang Hai to the castle. Subsequently, he turned to look at the undead and hesitated for a moment. Then, he decided to bring the undead into the Black Tortoise realm as well. Undead mountain range, deep in the desert. Huh, Qin Feiyang, do you think you can kill me by leaving me alone in the desert? Naive and laughable. Sky demon flag, devour them all. Zhuge Mingyang stood amidst the raging winds and waves, laughing loudly towards the sky. The sky demon flag in his hand was surging with demonic qi. The undead in all directions were all devoured by the sky demon flag, accompanied by mournful wails. On the sky demon flag, there was a totem in the shape of a giant dragon. It had 9 heads and was filled with hostility. Originally, the entire totem was white. But now, one of the heads of the totem had already turned blood red, as if it was dyed in blood. The aura it emitted was even more terrifying than before. Continue to devour all the undead in this desert and you will transform into a heaven-defying demon weapon. Zhuge Mingyang laughed wildly, his eyes filled with a bloodthirsty light. His entire person looked exceptionally ferocious. Heaven-defying demon weapon. High up in the sky, Qin Feiyang stood against the wind. Hearing Zhuge Mingyang's words, he immediately looked at the sky demon flag, his eyes filled with shock and doubt. This sky demon flag could actually transform into a heaven-defying demon weapon? If Zhuge Mingyang was not lying, then wouldn't leaving him in the desert be considered as fulfilling his wish? Suddenly, Qin Feiyang noticed that the undead next to him was actually shivering at this moment. What's wrong? Qin Feiyang was suspicious. The undead pointed at the sky demon flag, its entire body emitting an incomparable wave of fear. It seems that this sky demon flag is really the nemesis of the undead. No. We have to change the plan. We can't let him stay here and continue to devour the undead. Qin Feiyang muttered, looking at Zhuge Mingyang and the sky demon flag, his eyes flickering. Suddenly, a hint of a smile flashed across his eyes as he brought the undead into the castle. Everyone was cultivating in seclusion. Qin Feiyang looked at Yan Wei, and said, Yan Wei. Yan Wei opened his eyes and looked at Qin Feiyang suspiciously. Qin Feiyang sighed, originally, I wanted you to break through to the 9-star War Emperor, so I set you up to hide by Zhuge Mingyang's side. But now that the situation has changed, we have to change the plan. Yan Wei nodded in realization, and said with a smile, you already have such a strong person by your side, it doesn't matter if I cultivate or not. You can't say that. Hearing this, Qin Feiyang couldn't help but feel sad and blame himself. Yan Wei hurriedly said, I don't mean anything else, don't misunderstand, but my ability to express myself is not good, I just want to say, you don't have to explain, I understand. I also promise you that this is the last time. In short, no one can replace you in my heart. Even if everyone becomes a god in the future, you will still be my best partner. Qin Feiyang said. It's still us. We are also your family. We will never leave you. Fatso and the others also opened their eyes and looked at Yan Wei. Thank you. Yan Wei looked at everyone gratefully. Qin Feiyang took a deep breath, looked at Yan Wei, and asked, Are you ready? Ready at any time. Yan Wei nodded. Qin Feiyang said, Old Zhao. This subordinate is here. Zhao Tailai said respectfully. Qin Feiyang said, Injure Yan Wei heavily. Yes. Zhao Tailai responded, walked to Yan Wei's side, and sighed, Brother, I've wronged you. It's fine, come. Yan Wei smiled. Zhao Tailai waved his hand, and a strand of divine power appeared and entered Yan Wei's sea of qi. Yan Wei's face immediately distorted in pain. Qin Feiyang couldn't help but feel sad, and couldn't bear to watch anymore, and left the castle with Cui Li. Cui Li sighed, Young lord, this Yan Wei is loyal to you. Yes. I owe him too much. After we kill the state preceptor, I will make it up to him. Qin Feiyang said. Cui Li nodded. Qin Feiyang looked down at Zhuge Mingyang, his eyes flashing coldly, and whispered to Cui Li, later, do this. After listening, Cui Li nodded, okay. Qin Feiyang exhaled, took a step forward with Cui Li, and landed in front of Zhuge Mingyang. Zhuge Mingyang was stunned. Qin Feiyang said, how does it feel to face this endless desert alone? Not bad. Zhuge Mingyang grinned. Qin Feiyang glanced at the sky demon flag, and with a wave of his hand, the three of them instantly left the desert, and appeared above the ruins of Aeon City. We're out already? Zhuge Mingyang stared blankly. This was too fast. What? Still reluctant to leave the desert? Qin Feiyang snorted coldly. Am I? Zhuge Mingyang put away the sky demon flag unnaturally, and said angrily, I hate the desert, and I don't want to go in again. Don't want to go in again? I think you can't wait to enter the desert again. Qin Feiyang sneered. Zhuge Mingyang's pupils shrank, and he shook his head. How is that possible? Stop pretending. Do you think I didn't see you using the sky demon flag to devour those dead souls? Qin Feiyang snorted coldly. Zhuge Mingyang was stunned, and then he laughed and said, so you've already found out. Are you in such a hurry to bring me to the desert? Qin Feiyang said, I brought you out because I've already entered the second floor. As for those dead souls, I don't care about them at all. So fast? Zhuge Mingyang was surprised. He didn't know that during his time in the desert, Qin Feiyang had been to many places. Qin Feiyang said, your master wants me to help with something. What is it? This is a secret. I can't tell you for the time being. Zhuge Mingyang shook his head. Cui Li's eyes flashed slightly, and he asked, young master, is it necessary to keep the confidant of the state preceptor? Nonsense. Qin Feiyang's face suddenly showed a trace of anger. This subordinate knows his mistake. Cui Li hurriedly said. The confidant of the state preceptor? At the same time, Zhuge Mingyang looked stunned. He looked at Qin Feiyang and Cui Li suspiciously and sneered, Brother Qin, there is no need to hide it. Is there? Qin Feiyang pretended to be innocent. Do you think I have a problem with my ears? Can't I hear you? Tell me, which confidant of the state preceptor fell into your hands? Zhuge Mingyang said. This is none of your business. Qin Feiyang said lightly. Nonsense. The state preceptor is my ancestor. His confidant is also my man. Do you think it has nothing to do with me? Hand him over quickly. Otherwise, when you find Lin Yi and the others, I can guarantee that you will find a corpse. Zhuge Mingyang laughed jokingly. Are you threatening me? Qin Feiyang raised his eyebrows and stared at Zhuge Mingyang. His eyes flashed coldly. Yes. Yes, I am threatening you. Zhuge Mingyang shrugged with a bright smile on his face. Qin Feiyang's face was gloomy. He turned his head and glared at Cui Li, it's all your fault. You can't do anything right, but you are good at spoiling things. That's why, when you look for a subordinate in the future, you must remember to find a shrewd one. Zhuge Mingyang sneered. Cui Li glared at Zhuge Mingyang angrily. He knelt in front of Qin Feiyang and said with trepidation, I'm sorry, young master. I really didn't mean it. Humph. Go to the castle. Don't be an eyesore here. Qin Feiyang snorted from his nose. With a wave of his hand, he sent Cui Li to the castle. Then, he looked at Zhuge Mingyang and said, let's go out first. Zhuge Mingyang stretched out his hand and said, don't. Give him back to me first. Qin Feiyang's face was as dark as water. Zhuge Mingyang shook his head and smiled, you don't have a choice. You can only listen to me. Okay, I'll give him back to you. Qin Feiyang clenched his fists and said word by word. Then he took Yan Wei out. So it's you. Yan Wei had changed his appearance. He looked exactly the same as when he was hiding beside the imperial tutor. When Zhuge Mingyang saw him, he immediately recognized him. "Young master, save me." Yan Wei also hurriedly called out to Zhuge Mingyang. His body was covered in blood, and his face was full of helplessness. Zhuge Mingyang looked at Yan Wei's injuries and said angrily, "Qin Feiyang, you are too much. You actually tortured him like this. It's good that you didn't kill him." Chapter 1726. Zhuge Mingyang's gaze was cold as he shouted, "Let him go." Qin Feiyang waved his hand, and Yan Wei immediately flew towards Zhuge Mingyang. Zhuge Mingyang released the power of the false god to support Yan Wei, then took out a spirit sea pill and let Yan Wei consume it. "Thank you, young master." Yan Wei took the spirit sea pill and quickly thanked him. Qin Feiyang said, "I've given you the person, can we go out now?" Zhuge Mingyang looked around and said with a smile, "To be honest, I really don't want to leave this place." "Then why don't you stay here?" Qin Feiyang said. "Good idea, let's make such a happy decision." Zhuge Mingyang nodded and smiled. Qin Feiyang was so angry that his whole body trembled. Of course. This was all an act. "Forget it, I won't tease you anymore." Zhuge Mingyang chuckled and said, "Before we go out, help me remove the devil mark." Qin Feiyang said, "I can't remove it. You're the master of the Black Tortoise realm now, can't you remove the devil mark?" "Do you think I'm stupid?" Zhuge Mingyang sneered. "You're really smart." Qin Feiyang gritted his teeth and said. Zhuge Mingyang smiled and said, "I'm just a so-so. Compared to you, I'm still far behind." Qin Feiyang let out a long breath. The Heart of Origin appeared and quickly removed the devil mark for Zhuge Mingyang. Then, with a wave of his hand, he brought the two of them and appeared in the divine sight. "This is the second level?" Zhuge Mingyang looked around curiously. Qin Feiyang said impatiently, "Cut the crap, what do you want me to do?" "Don't be so impatient." Zhuge Mingyang chuckled. Then, he turned around and took out a piece of animal skin from his chinkuan bag. Then, he unfolded it and started to examine it carefully. Qin Feiyang tiptoed to take a look and found that it was actually a map. Just as he was about to walk in front of Zhuge Mingyang to check the map, Zhuge Mingyang put away the map. Qin Feiyang asked suspiciously, "Where is this map of? Does it have anything to do with you?" Zhuge Mingyang sneered, then raised his head to identify the direction and said, "Follow me." After saying that, with a wave of his hand, Zhuge Mingyang swept up Yan Wei and flew towards the southeast. Qin Feiyang furrowed his brows and followed behind the two unhurriedly. A moment later, Yan Wei's Qi Si was finally restored. Zhuge Mingyang transmitted his voice, "How did you end up in Qin Feiyang's hands?" "It's a long story. A few days ago, everyone and I were recuperating in a water source on the first floor. Then, this Qin Feiyang suddenly appeared and killed all of us." Yan Wei secretly said. "Then why didn't he kill you?" Zhuge Mingyang's eyes flashed slightly and asked. "He knows that the Imperial Preceptor thinks highly of me and wants to force out the secrets of the Imperial Preceptor from me. But am I the kind of person who is afraid of death? These days, he made that damn Fatso and Wolf King think of ways to torture me, but I'm not afraid at all. I thought that I would definitely die, but I didn't expect that I would meet you, young master. It's true that there's always a way out." Yan Wei said. "So that's how it is." Zhuge Mingyang suddenly nodded his head, then frowned and transmitted his voice, "That's not right. Doesn't he have the slave seal? Why didn't he use the slave seal to control you?" Obviously. He was very careful and didn't really believe in Yan Wei. But now, he still didn't know that Qin Feiyang had mastered another kind of miraculous secret technique, the puppet technique. Because he knows that the Imperial Preceptor is controlling me with the blood-soul technique. If he uses the slave seal to control me again, the blood-soul technique will be erased, and at that time, the Imperial Preceptor will be alarmed. Yan Wei transmitted his voice. He had already thought of these questions in advance and prepared the answers. Zhuge Mingyang said, "Then who are the people in his castle now?" "Let me think." Yan Wei lowered his head and pretended to think, but secretly transmitted his voice to Qin Feiyang. "Young master, Zhuge Mingyang asked me, who are the people in the castle now? How should I answer?" Qin Feiyang secretly said, "Answer truthfully." Although there were many things that Zhuge Mingyang didn't know yet, but these things would be exposed sooner or later. If he hid something now, it might be extremely disadvantageous for Yan Wei in the future. Yan Wei trusted him so much and worked for him wholeheartedly. He must not put Yan Wei in danger. "Okay." Yan Wei secretly responded, looked at Zhuge Mingyang and transmitted his voice. "It's almost the same people as before." As soon as Yan Wei finished speaking, a murderous intent flashed in Zhuge Mingyang's eyes. Because he knew that there were more people around Qin Feiyang now, so he thought that Yan Wei was lying to him. Yan Wei said again, "However, there are more unfamiliar faces." Heard. The murderous intent in Zhuge Mingyang's eyes quietly dissipated, and secretly said, "Who are they? What do they look like?" "There are two people who are the most eye-catching. One of them is called Zhao Tai, the other is called Tang Hai. These two people's cultivation is very good, they seem to be the legendary war gods." Yan Wei secretly said. "Zhao Tai, Tang Hai, I know this Zhao Tai. He is the deputy chief of the Vanga League, but who is this Tang Hai?" Zhuge Mingyang was suspicious. Yan Wei said, "I heard that Tang Hai is the lord of the Nether Hall." "What? The lord of the Nether Hall? Didn't he leave with the guardian? Why is he with Qin Feiyang?" "Are you sure?" Zhuge Mingyang secretly said. "I'm sure." Yan Wei nodded. It seems that a lot of things have happened during this period. Zhuge Mingyang secretly muttered and said in a deep voice, "Did you see Ning Mingyi and Li Yun?" "Ning Mingyi, Li Yun?" Yan Wei was stunned and secretly said, "I've heard of these two names. From what they said, they seem to be dead." "Dead?" Zhuge Mingyang raised his eyebrows. "I don't know the details." "Oh right, there's another person. His name is Li Jian. He used to be the confidant of the Grand Master. Not only did he follow Qin Feiyang, but he also thought that he had broken through to the false god realm. He's now trying to break through to the war god realm in the castle." Yan Wei said. "What? He's already become a war god. That damn traitor." Zhuge Mingyang was furious. Yan Wei secretly said, "Young master, why are you in the Black Tortoise world?" "It's a long story. I'll tell you when I have the chance." Zhuge Mingyang secretly said. He then turned to Qin Feiyang and asked curiously, "Brother Qin, I remember that the people of the Vanga League and the Fengtian Palace followed you. Where are they now? Have they broken through to the war god realm?" "They're dead." Qin Feiyang said lightly. "Dead? How is that possible? They're so strong. Who can kill them?" Zhuge Mingyang was shocked. "They were killed by the giant python." Qin Feiyang said. "Really?" Zhuge Mingyang couldn't believe it. These people followed Qin Feiyang. If they really met the giant python, they could hide in the Black Tortoise world. How could they die? Qin Feiyang snorted coldly, "These ungrateful people deserve to die." "Ungrateful?" Zhuge Mingyang was stunned and asked, "What do you mean?" "Back then, when I became the ruler of the Black Tortoise world and helped them get rid of the devil mark and regain their freedom, they actually turned against me. I'm kind and generous. Seeing that we used to fight side by side, I let them go. Unfortunately, not long after they left, they were killed by the giant python and the fire dragon. I saw them die in front of me with my own eyes." Qin Feiyang said. "I see." Zhuge Mingyang smiled and said, "These people really don't know what's good for them. Damn it, what about the fire dragon and the giant python?" "The giant python is also dead. As for the fire dragon, I don't know. Where is it now?" Qin Feiyang said. What? The giant python is dead? How did it die? Zhuge Mingyang turned pale with fright. The fire dragon and I worked together to kill it, Qin Feiyang said. This, Zhuge Mingyang's face was full of shock as he asked, what exactly is going on? Qin Feiyang said expressionlessly, I'm not obliged to tell you. Zhuge Mingyang raised his eyebrows. Yan Wei suddenly said, young master, there's one more thing. It's definitely a surprise for you. What is it? Zhuge Mingyang asked secretly. Yan Wei smiled and said, Lord Imperial Tutor and Lord Emperor Hong have both stepped into the War God realm. Zhuge Mingyang was stunned, and said secretly, how do you know? Not long after Qin Feiyang entered the second floor, he met Lord Emperor Hong and Lord Imperial Tutor. They even fought a big battle. Wasn't the place where Qin Feiyang brought us to the Black Tortoise realm a mess? That was caused by their battle. Yan Wei thought. What was the result? Zhuge Mingyang asked. Yan Wei said, Qin Feiyang almost died in the hands of Lord Imperial Tutor, but was saved by the second floor's Beast Emperor in the end. The second floor's Beast Emperor? Zhuge Mingyang frowned. Yes. The second floor's Beast Emperor is helping him. Yan Wei said suspiciously. How could such a thing happen? Zhuge Mingyang frowned, unable to understand, and asked, then where are the ancestor and Emperor Hong now? I don't know. Yan Wei shook his head. Are you really the ancestor and the imperial tutor? Zhuge Mingyang asked. Although I was imprisoned in the castle at that time, I heard their voices clearly. There's no mistake. Yan Wei thought. Very good. Since the ancestor and Emperor Hong have both broken through to the War God realm, then we don't have to be afraid of Qin Feiyang anymore. Zhuge Mingyang was overjoyed. Yan Wei said, although you're right, it's best not to clash with him in the miracle. After all, these beast emperors are not to be trifled with. You're right. Let's endure it for now. When we return to the Great Qin, we'll slowly settle the score with him. Zhuge Mingyang secretly sneered. His suspicions towards Yan Wei had completely disappeared. Roar. Suddenly, accompanied by the roar of a beast, a huge beast rushed out from the forest below and stood in front of the three of them. It was a beast emperor of the small success stage of the War God realm. Seeing this, Zhuge Mingyang and Yan Wei's faces immediately turned pale. The beast emperor stared at Zhuge Mingyang and Zhuge Mingyang, its entire body emitting a fierce aura. But when it saw Qin Feiyang behind the two of them, its fierce aura immediately dissipated, and it laughed, so its brother Qin, I hope you can forgive me for offending you. It's fine. Qin Feiyang waved his hand and smiled. All right then, I'll take my leave first. The beast emperor smiled flatteringly, then turned around and disappeared into the forest. Chapter 1727. He didn't believe what Yan Wei said before. But he didn't expect it to be true. It was even more exaggerated than what Yan Wei said. He actually called the beast emperor here brother. After a long while, Zhuge Mingyang came back to his senses and turned to look at Qin Feiyang. Brother Qin, what's going on? My character is good. Qin Feiyang shrugged and said. Good character? The corner of Zhuge Mingyang's mouth twitched. Only a ghost would believe such a lousy excuse. He glanced at Yan Wei and said, you said that you were captured by Qin Feiyang on the first floor? Yes. Yan Wei nodded. These beast emperors helped him. I think they must have reached some agreement with Qin Feiyang. Since you were captured on the first floor, you should have entered the second floor with Qin Feiyang. Although you are imprisoned, you can hear the movements outside. Have you heard anything these days? Zhuge Mingyang said secretly. I vaguely heard that it seems to be related to the Guardian. Yan Wei thought. Guardian? Zhuge Mingyang was even more puzzled. Wasn't the giant python dead? How could it be related to the Guardian? Wait. Could it be that a new guardian had appeared? And this guardian had a close relationship with Qin Feiyang? If that was the case, it would be bad. It seemed that he couldn't fall out with Qin Feiyang in the miracle. Yan Wei asked calmly, "Young master, where are we going to take Qin Feiyang now?" Zhuge Mingyang smiled and said, "You will know when we get there." Yan Wei nodded. In case Zhuge Mingyang was suspicious, he didn't ask further. Zhuge Mingyang pondered for a moment and said inwardly, "After Qin Feiyang captured you, what did he interrogate you about?" "News of his mother, his grandfather, Lin Yi, and the mermaid princess. But I don't even know where they are." Yan Wei said. "Of course you don't. Because these things are only known to me and my ancestor." Zhuge Mingyang said. "Then where are they?" Yan Wei was curious. But then, he hurriedly said, "Young master, I'm sorry. I forgot the rules. Don't ask what you shouldn't ask. Since you're so loyal to me and my ancestors, there's no harm in telling you. Lin Yi and the mermaid princess are now in the Sea of Reincarnation." Zhuge Mingyang said. As for Qin Feiyang's mother and grandfather, he did not mention a single word. Sea of Reincarnation? Yan Wei was suspicious. "Yes, they are now my master's disciples, which means they are my junior sisters. But they don't know that my master has a grudge with Qin Badian. Master accepted them as disciples. On the surface, it was said that he took a fancy to their aptitude, but in fact, it was to deal with Qin Feiyang." Zhuge Mingyang laughed. "Deal with Qin Feiyang?" Yan Wei was suspicious. "Yes. Think about it. These two are Qin Feiyang's most beloved women. How interesting is it to let them and Qin Feiyang kill each other?" Zhuge Mingyang said. "I see. Young master's move is really brilliant." Yan Wei laughed secretly. Zhuge Mingyang waved his hand and said, "This is not my idea. It's my master's idea. Young master, I didn't expect you to have a master. I'm really surprised. He must be very strong." Yan Wei said. "Of course. It's all thanks to my master that my ancestor and I can be where we are today. When there's a chance, I'll introduce you to my master. At that time, you can easily get a few divine objects and techniques." Zhuge Mingyang said secretly. "Thank you for your guidance, young master. In the future, I will definitely do my best for young master and the state preceptor." Yan Wei was very surprised and quickly thanked him secretly. Zhuge Mingyang laughed secretly and said appreciatively, "Not bad, not bad. No wonder my ancestor likes you so much even though your cultivation is so weak." "My cultivation is indeed a little weak." Yan Wei smiled embarrassedly. "Cultivation is not important. What is important is loyalty. As long as you are loyal, I guarantee you a promising future." Zhuge Mingyang said. "Yes, yes, yes." Yan Wei nodded again and again. Zhuge Mingyang smiled proudly and didn't say anything else. Yan Wei looked at Zhuge Mingyang's back, and a hint of mockery flashed in his eyes. He said to Qin Feiyang, "Young master, I asked Zhuge Mingyang. Lin Yi and others are indeed in the Sea of Reincarnation. What about my mother and grandfather?" Qin Feiyang was refreshed and said secretly. "He didn't say, and I didn't dare to ask more." Yan Wei said. "Very good. Try not to ask." "What else did he say?" Qin Feiyang said. "He also said that demon ancestor and your ancestor had a grudge. And demon ancestor accepted Lin Yi and others as disciples to let you kill each other." Yan Wei said. "Damn bastard." Qin Feiyang cursed and said secretly, "Do Lin Yi and others know about this?" Yan Wei said, listening to Zhuge Mingyang, "They shouldn't know. By the way, Zhuge Mingyang also said that when there is an opportunity, he will recommend me to demon ancestor." "What?" Qin Feiyang was taken aback. "Although it's a bit dangerous, I think this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Because in this way, I can find out demon ancestor's lair. Maybe I can even find out the details of demon ancestor. Yan Wei said secretly. No. Qin Feiyang refused decisively. Yan Wei had already done a lot for him. He couldn't let Yan Wei take such a big risk again. Yan Wei was silent for a while and smiled secretly. Then let's talk about this later. Time passed day by day. Along the way, the three encountered many beasts. But without exception, they all made way when they saw Qin Feiyang. Finally. Half a month later, in the morning, a large canyon appeared in the sight of Qin Feiyang and the other two. The canyon was surrounded by mountains on all sides, towering into the clouds. There was only one narrow entrance and exit. And there were beasts all around. The lowest was a 9-star emperor beast. There were no less than a dozen warlord beast emperors. Not to mention ordinary people. Even a warlord would find it difficult to get close to the canyon. But under the leadership of Qin Feiyang, the three passed through the mountains unimpeded and came to the entrance of the canyon. Seeing Zhuge Mingyang stop, Qin Feiyang said suspiciously, "You want to bring me here?" "Yes." Zhuge Mingyang nodded. Yan Wei also looked at the canyon in front of him curiously. Zhuge Mingyang said again, "This place actually has some connections with you." "Connections?" Qin Feiyang frowned. "Come in with me." Zhuge Mingyang smiled mysteriously and took the lead to step into the canyon. Yan Wei followed closely behind him. Qin Feiyang looked at Zhuge Mingyang's back and followed in. When he stepped into the entrance, he was immediately stunned. He suddenly felt an inexplicable sense of familiarity. What's going on? Following behind Zhuge Mingyang, he finally entered the canyon through the long and narrow entrance. The canyon in front of him was a few miles wide and flat. In the canyon, there were no tall trees. The ground was covered with green weeds and blooming wildflowers could be seen everywhere. And in the center of the canyon, there was a lake that covered an area of about half a mile. The lake's surface was calm and the water was extremely clear. This place could be said to have a pleasant scenery and was very suitable for people to cultivate their mind and spirit here. But at the same time, Qin Feiyang felt an inexplicable sense of familiarity and his heart became stronger and stronger. Why do I feel this way? Qin Feiyang glanced at the canyon, his eyes full of suspicion. Wait. The canyon, southeast direction, it can't be so coincidental, right? Qin Feiyang suddenly remembered that Zhao Tailai also found a canyon in the southeast direction. As for the distance, Zhao Tailai said it would take 3 days, but that was based on Zhao Tailai's own speed. After all, Zhao Tailai was a war god. His speed was much faster than Qin Feiyang, a pseudo-god. In other words, it was very likely that this was the canyon that Zhao Tailai mentioned. But, could there be such a coincidence? He hurriedly pulled Zhao Tailai out of the castle and asked with a smile, "Have you cultivated well?" Zhuge Mingyang looked at Zhao Tailai and his pupils shrank slightly. He had indeed broken through to the war god realm. "I've cultivated well." Zhao Tailai nodded to Qin Feiyang. Qin Feiyang said, "Look at this canyon. Is it the same place as the canyon you saw?" Zhao Tailai glanced at the canyon and a hint of surprise appeared in his eyes. He nodded and said, "Young master, yes. It's actually the same place." Qin Feiyang muttered, turned to look at Zhuge Mingyang, and said, "You brought me here, is it because of that seal? You actually know about the existence of the seal?" Zhuge Mingyang was stunned. Yan Wei sent a sound transmission, "Young master, this Zhao Tailai has been to this place before. So that's how it is." Zhuge Mingyang suddenly understood and nodded, "You guessed right, I'm here for this seal." "Since you're here for this seal, then you must know what's sealed here," Qin Feiyang said. "That's right," Zhuge Mingyang said. "What is it?" Qin Feiyang asked. "It's a secret." Zhuge Mingyang smiled mysteriously, turned around and led Yan Wei towards the lake. Qin Feiyang and Zhao Tailai looked at each other and followed in big strides. Zhao Tailai said in a low voice, "Young master, the aura of the seal comes from that lake, but I've searched all over the lake and couldn't find the source of the seal. Zhuge Mingyang definitely knows. We just have to follow him," Qin Feiyang said. The four of them came to the lake one after another. Qin Feiyang looked at the lake and his gaze trembled slightly. The moment he came to the lake, the sense of familiarity that had been pervading in his heart instantly became incomparably intense. It could even be described as blood is thicker than water. His hands gradually clenched, and there was a trace of unconcealable excitement in his eyes. "Young master, what's wrong with you?" Zhao Tailai looked at Qin Feiyang in surprise. "This is the aura of my ancestor," Qin Feiyang said excitedly. There was indeed an aura of the seal in the lake. The owner of the aura, according to his judgment, was his ancestor, the Qin Emperor. In other words, the seal here was left by his ancestor, the Qin Emperor. Zhao Tailai and Yan Wei's bodies trembled slightly, and they suddenly looked at the lake in disbelief. Zhuge Mingyang, however, was not surprised at all. Obviously, he already knew. Qin Feiyang calmed down the fluctuations in his heart, turned to look at Zhuge Mingyang and asked, "This is the origin that you mentioned to me?" "Yes." Chapter 1728. What exactly is sealed here? Qin Feiyang said in a deep voice. Zhuge Mingyang said, "You will naturally know later." Zhao Tailai glanced at Zhuge Mingyang and transmitted his voice, "Young master, be careful. There may be a trap inside." "I know." Qin Feiyang secretly replied and lowered his head to scan the lake. Since this seal was left by the ancestor, then the thing in this lake must have been sealed by the ancestor himself. The ancestor ruled the world with benevolence and compassion. It was impossible for him to seal a person or thing here for no reason. Thus, it could be seen. What was sealed here was definitely not a good thing. Wait. The seal was the ancestor's. Did Zhuge Mingyang bring him here to ask him to help open the seal? And everything that Zhuge Mingyang did was ordered by the mysterious demon ancestor. Could it be, the thing sealed here was related to the demon ancestor? Thinking of this, Qin Feiyang's face suddenly darkened and he shouted, "Zhao Tailai, let's go." "Yes." Zhao Tailai replied respectfully. "Go?" Zhuge Mingyang was slightly stunned. He hurriedly turned to look at Qin Feiyang and asked, "Where are we going?" Qin Feiyang said lightly, "I am not interested in this place." "Not interested?" "This is the seal left by your ancestor. Don't you want to know what he sealed?" Zhuge Mingyang was stunned. Qin Feiyang stopped, lowered his head and pondered for a moment. Without turning his head, he said, "It is because it is the seal left by the ancestor that I have to go." Zhuge Mingyang raised his eyebrows and looked at Qin Feiyang's back. Suddenly, he showed a look of realization and said with a smile, "It seems that you have guessed something." Qin Feiyang said, "Then my guess, is it true or false?" Zhuge Mingyang frowned and said, "True or false, false or true, does it matter?" "Of course." Qin Feiyang said. "All right. I'm telling you in advance. A person is sealed here." Zhuge Mingyang pondered for a while and gritted his teeth. "Fiend ancestor?" Qin Feiyang asked. "So you thought that the one sealed here was my master?" Zhuge Mingyang was stunned. "Isn't it?" Qin Feiyang turned around and looked at Zhuge Mingyang's expression. "No." Zhuge Mingyang shook his head and smiled. "The person sealed here is related to Mu Tianyang." "What?" Qin Feiyang's eyes trembled. This answer was simply too unexpected. "You probably don't know, but Mu Tianyang actually has a younger brother called Mu Tianjun. This Mu Tianjun was also a god of war. His strength and character were similar to Mu Tianyang's. He was domineering and killed people without hesitation. Back then, this person was seriously injured by your ancestor and sealed. This time I brought you here to completely end this person's life." Zhuge Mingyang said. Mu Tianjun, Qin Feiyang murmured. He had never heard of this name before. There was no record of it even in the relevant ancient books. Zhuge Mingyang said, you must be thinking that if Mu Tianjun really exists in this world, then the history books of the imperial palace will definitely record it? Qin Feiyang nodded. Let me tell you, there is indeed a history book that records information about Mu Tianjun. Zhuge Mingyang said with a smile. Qin Feiyang frowned and said, why didn't I see it? Zhuge Mingyang said, you didn't see it because this history book was not hidden in the imperial palace, but in the hands of my ancestor. Qin Feiyang said, hearsay is false, but seeing is believing. I knew you would say that, so before I left, I specially went to my ancestor and asked for that history book. And this book was written by your ancestor, Emperor Qin himself. After saying that, Zhuge Mingyang took out a book from his Qinquan bag. The book had been specially treated and would not decay even after tens of thousands of years. It looked as if it was new. Written by my ancestor. Qin Feiyang looked at the book in Zhuge Mingyang's hand and his eyes trembled slightly. The information about Mu Tianjun is recorded on pages 52 and 53. Take a look yourself. Zhuge Mingyang threw the book to Qin Feiyang. Qin Feiyang took the book and turned to the first page, which was full of small words. After careful identification, he found that the words on it were indeed written by his ancestor. He quickly turned to page 52. The first thing he saw was the words, Mu Tianjun. Below it was an introduction of Mu Tianjun's identity and all his evil deeds. Even how Mu Tianjun had sealed it was clearly recorded. Zhao Tailai also walked to Qin Feiyang, looking at Zhuge Mingyang warily while reading the content. After a careful check, Qin Feiyang closed the book and looked up at the lake, feeling emotional. The kindness of his ancestor was really beyond his reach. Zhuge Mingyang didn't lie. The person sealed here was indeed Mu Tianjun. Back then, Mu Tianjun sneakily attacked one of his ancestor's subordinates and cut off his head. When his ancestor learned about this, he was furious. He came here and fought with Mu Tianjun for a day and a night, finally injuring Mu Tianjun's divine soul. Originally, Mu Tianjun was going to die, but the ancestor thought that the heavens were virtuous and let go of Mu Tianjun's remnant soul. And he didn't destroy Mu Tianjun's divine body and seal it here. In other words, what was sealed here was only a divine body without consciousness and soul. He killed his subordinates, but he still let go of a trace of Mu Tianjun's soul. The Qin Emperor's kindness is indeed worthy of his reputation. Zhao Tailai also sighed. Although I respect my ancestor very much, I really don't agree with this point. Evil people should be punished. Kindness will only make them more rampant. Qin Feiyang said. That's right. Zhuge Mingyang nodded. Don't fan the flames. Although Mu Tianjun does deserve to be killed, this is just a divine body. I don't think it matters whether it is destroyed or not. Qin Feiyang said. Wrong. Zhuge Mingyang said. What's wrong? Qin Feiyang frowned. Didn't you see the historical records that Mu Tianjun still has a trace of his soul in the world? To tell you the truth, my master has been looking for the whereabouts of Mu Tianjun's soul for a long time. According to my master, Mu Tianjun's soul has been hiding in the Mu family on the Forgotten Continent. And now, it is very likely that it is in the hands of Mu Tianyang. And after all these years of cultivation, Mu Tianjun's soul has been repaired, and now it is a complete divine soul. Do you know how big a threat a complete divine soul is to us? Zhuge Mingyang said in a deep voice. Qin Feiyang's face darkened when he heard this. Zhuge Mingyang said again, do you know the biggest purpose of Mu Tianyang entering the miracle this time? To save Mu Tianjun's divine body? Qin Feiyang said. That's right. Mu Tianjun is not only his younger brother, but his strength is also on par with him. When Mu Tianjun's divine body is freed and merged with his divine soul, Mu Tianjun will wake up and directly recover to his peak state. There's one more thing that I'm afraid you don't know. Mu Tianyang also has a heaven-defying artifact. Zhuge Mingyang said. I've already seen it. Qin Feiyang said. You've seen it? Zhuge Mingyang was a little surprised and asked suspiciously, when did this happen? Why didn't I know? That's not the point. Qin Feiyang said. Zhuge Mingyang took a deep look at Qin Feiyang and said, since you know, then you should also understand that when Mu Tianjun revives, the great Qin will have no power to resist at all. Qin Feiyang fell silent. Therefore, we must destroy Mu Tianjuan's divine body before Mu Tianyang arrives. In this way, Mu Tianjuan's divine soul can only find someone to possess. But it's very difficult to find someone who is on par with him in the world today. Of course, it's not impossible. However, those who are on par with him can't just stand there and let him possess them. If the other party resists, he may fail to possess them by force. I don't think Mu Tianjun will dare to take such a risk. So I'm sure that when he possesses someone, he will definitely find someone weaker than him. In this way, even if he succeeds, he won't be able to exert all his strength, and we won't be so passive. Zhuge Mingyang said. Qin Feiyang was silent. Zhao Tailai pondered for a moment and transmitted his voice, young master, what he said makes sense. Don't you have a master? It's just Mu Tianyang, Mu Tianjun. What are you afraid of? Qin Feiyang looked up at Zhuge Mingyang and said lightly. Zhuge Mingyang said, my master is indeed very strong, but for some reason, he can't do anything, so we can only rely on ourselves. I once heard a legend that the demon ancestor and the demon dragon were killed one after another. I don't think this is a legend. Even if the demon ancestor is still alive, he should only be in the state of a remnant soul now. Qin Feiyang said. Zhuge Mingyang raised his eyebrows and said in a deep voice, who did you hear that from? Qin Feiyang thought for a moment and shook his head. It's been too long. I can't remember. Zhuge Mingyang looked at Qin Feiyang with a complicated expression. Boss, I think your cousin Lu Zheng said that. Fatso's voice suddenly sounded in Qin Feiyang's mind. Cousin? Qin Feiyang was stunned. After thinking about it carefully, his gaze trembled. It seemed to be Lu Zheng who said that. Back then, when this rumor was mentioned, it was because of the blood-soul technique. He remembered that time. Wang Yangfeng and the people in the village were controlled by the blood-soul technique. According to Lu Zheng, the blood-soul technique was created by the demon ancestor. The demon ancestor once used this blood-soul technique to enslave countless powerhouses and stir up trouble. In the end, two war gods appeared and set up a killing trap to kill the demon ancestor. In order to avenge its master, the demon dragon also began to do evil everywhere. In the end, it was also cut into 8 pieces and sealed in various places. Before the demon dragon died, in order to take revenge on humans, it passed the blood-soul technique to everyone under its control at that time. Therefore, the blood-soul technique had been passed down to this day. When he first heard this rumor, Qin Feiyang thought it was just a simple legend, so he didn't take it seriously. So he slowly forgot about it. Chapter 1729. In other words, everything that Lu Zheng had said had actually happened before. Wait. Suddenly, a trace of bewilderment appeared in Qin Feiyang's eyes. What Lu Zheng said was confirmed. Did it mean that Lu Zheng knew the truth? Thinking of this, Qin Feiyang turned to Zhao Tailai and said, wait for me here. I'll go to Ling Yunfei's space treasure. Okay. Zhao Tailai nodded. Qin Feiyang flashed and appeared above a mountain. He closed his eyes and sensed for a while. Then he appeared by a river. He saw Lu Zheng sitting cross-legged on a bluestone, fishing silently. How's the progress? Qin Feiyang took a step forward and landed beside Lu Zheng. He asked with a smile. Lu Zheng smiled and said, the Crocodile Emperor has told me that you and Li Jian comprehended the mysteries of becoming a god. I benefited a lot. Qin Feiyang said, it seems that we will have another fake god soon. How can it be so easy? Lu Zheng smiled bitterly and asked suspiciously, what are you doing here? Qin Feiyang said, I have something to ask you. I hope you won't hide anything and tell me the truth. What is it? Lu Zheng was puzzled. Qin Feiyang asked, do you remember the origin of the blood-soul technique that you told me? The origin of the blood-soul technique? Lu Zheng was stunned. He tried to recall for a moment and said, I think I did tell you. The demon ancestor and the demonic dragon that you mentioned are now confirmed. They really exist. Tell me, is this a coincidence? Qin Feiyang asked. What do you mean? Lu Zheng looked at Qin Feiyang with a puzzled face. Qin Feiyang said, you should know what I mean. Lu Zheng thought for a while and frowned. You suspect that I'm lying to you? Lin Yi, mermaid princess, mother, and even grandfather are involved with the demon ancestor. Shouldn't I suspect you? Qin Feiyang said angrily. Lu Zheng suddenly smiled and said, so you think that I knew the truth but kept it from you and didn't tell you? Isn't it? Qin Feiyang said. Lu Zheng shook his head and sighed. Cousin, I can tell you responsibly that I really don't know. When I told you about Demon Alpha and Demon Dragon, it was purely because of the blood-soul technique. Qin Feiyang frowned. You still don't believe me? Let me explain it to you like this. Before I learned that the demon ancestor and the demon dragon really existed, I also thought that they were just legends. Lu Zheng said. Qin Feiyang looked at Lu Zheng's expression. There was no trace of deception, so he asked, does Big Cousin know? How would I know? You have to ask him. But you have to be mentally prepared. Even if Big Brother knows, he will probably hide it from you like Second Grandpa and the others. Lu Zheng said. I'm no longer a child. Qin Feiyang sighed helplessly. Don't I think so too? But in their eyes, we are children. I'm afraid that we can't bear the pressure. Lu Zheng sighed and smiled again, but without relying on them, can't we still find out the truth? Although there is still a distance from the truth, at least we have the main clues. Don't you think so? We? Don't take the credit. I've always been the one investigating, okay? You've been hiding here to cultivate. Qin Feiyang was speechless. Is there a distinction between brothers? Your credit is also my credit. Lu Zheng said with dissatisfaction. Fine, it's all your credit. Go on, hero. I won't disturb you anymore. Qin Feiyang looked at him helplessly. Then, he left the spatial divine item and appeared in the canyon. Zhuge Mingyang asked, Brother Qin, what do you think? Qin Feiyang looked at the lake and said, am I the only one who can break the seal here? Zhuge Mingyang's eyes flashed and he said anxiously, Mu Tianyang must have a way to break it. We have to get ahead of him. Mu Tianyang, Qin Feiyang murmured. Brother Qin, we really can't hesitate on this matter. We have to solve it as soon as possible. Otherwise, there will be endless troubles. Zhuge Mingyang urged. Qin Feiyang suddenly laughed. What are you laughing at? Zhuge Mingyang raised his eyebrows. Qin Feiyang sneered and said, I don't think your purpose of bringing me here is so simple. Look at what you're saying. What other purpose can I have? Zhuge Mingyang was unhappy. Do you know? In the past, I had an agreement with Mu Tianyang. I couldn't understand this agreement. But just now, I carefully thought about it for a while. After connecting the causes and effects, I suddenly understood. Qin Feiyang said. What agreement? Zhuge Mingyang was suspicious. Back then, Mu Tianyang asked me to do something for him after entering the divine ruins. I think it should be for this Mu Tianjun. Qin Feiyang smiled. This question had puzzled him for a long time. In the past, when he was weak, Mu Tianyang had the chance to kill him. But why didn't he do it? And even gave him the alchemy scripture? Now, the truth finally surfaced. All that Mu Tianyang did was to train him and make him stronger as soon as possible. Then, they would enter the divine ruins together and help Mu Tianyang escape. And who was Mu Tianyang? If Mu Tianyang really had the ability to break the seal, why did he train him? Therefore, there was only one explanation. He was the only one who could break the seal here. But now, Zhuge Mingyang said that Mu Tianyang definitely had a way to break the seal. He was obviously lying. Then there was a problem. Why did Zhuge Mingyang lie to him? And why was he so eager to break the seal? There was a lot of story behind this. At the same time, hearing Qin Feiyang's words, Zhuge Mingyang also lowered his head and frowned. Mu Tianyang and Qin Feiyang actually had such an agreement? If that was the case, then didn't what he said before reveal his problem? This bastard is really difficult to deal with. Zhuge Mingyang couldn't help but curse in his heart. You must be feeling guilty. Let's not beat around the bush. Why do you want me to break this seal? Qin Feiyang smiled coldly and looked at Zhuge Mingyang. Zhuge Mingyang stared at Qin Feiyang. His eyes flickered. Suddenly, he shook his head and smiled. You are really not easy to deal with. Speaking of this, his face suddenly sank, and he said word by word, I can't tell you the reason. You still have to break the seal. You want to threaten me again? Said Qin Feiyang. I don't want to threaten you. But if you force me, I don't mind doing so. You have to think clearly. You won't lose anything at all if you break the seal. If you don't break it, I'm afraid you can't bear the consequences. Said Zhuge Mingyang. Even if I help you break the seal now, will you let Lin Yi and the others go? Don't think I'm stupid. Unless you bring Lin Yi and the mermaid princess to me now, said Yang Ming. Said Qin Feiyang. Zhuge Mingyang said angrily, they are not in Miracle now. How can I bring them to you? That's your business. Qin Feiyang said expressionlessly. Zhuge Mingyang's face suddenly became gloomy. Swish. However, at this moment, Zhuge Mingyang's temperament and breath suddenly changed. Qin Feiyang was familiar with this breath. It was the demon ancestor hidden in Zhuge Mingyang's body. Seeing this, Zhao Tailai immediately stood in front of Qin Feiyang, staring at Zhuge Mingyang at this moment with a vigilant face. Zhuge Mingyang glanced at Zhao Tailai and didn't put him in his eyes. He looked at Qin Feiyang and smiled, little friend, long time no see. His voice also became different. You are finally willing to come out. Qin Feiyang sneered. Originally, I didn't want to come out, but you are too difficult to deal with. I can only do it myself. Zhuge Mingyang said. To be precise, it was the demon ancestor who was talking. Qin Feiyang sneered, you want me to help you unlock the seal when you come out? Although I don't have much contact with you, I know you. It's basically impossible for you to take the initiative to help me. So, I can only use some means to make you obedient. Demon ancestor said. Then bring it on. Qin Feiyang snorted coldly. Boom. Before his voice fell, Zhao Tailai released his aura and was ready to fight. Demon ancestor glanced at Zhao Tailai and smiled, don't worry, I won't do anything to you. Zhao Tailai didn't believe his nonsense and was still on guard. Demon ancestor waved his hand, and a white divine light swept out from between his eyebrows. When it appeared in the void, it was a crystal stone. The size of the crystal stone was about the size of an egg. It was crystal clear and flickered with a hazy light. And inside the crystal stone, there was a pair of golden wings. It looks familiar. Qin Feiyang looked at the pair of wings, his brows full of suspicion. Demon ancestor said, this is the mermaid princess's wings. What? You actually took away her wings. Qin Feiyang's body shook, and a monstrous killing intent appeared in his eyes. He had a deep impression of this pair of wings. It appeared when the mermaid princess was receiving the inheritance in the mermaid clan's sacred land. I didn't take it away, I just temporarily sealed it in this crystal stone. However, if you don't listen, then I might destroy this pair of wings when I get angry. You probably don't know how important this pair of wings is to the mermaid princess. Especially this golden pair of wings. Once the wings are destroyed, the mermaid princess will follow, speaking of which. Demon ancestor didn't continue, and a smile flashed in his eyes. Will she die? Qin Feiyang said in a deep voice. She won't die. But her talent will disappear with this pair of wings. In other words, she will become a cripple with mediocre talent. You once had your cultivation crippled and expelled from the imperial capital. I think you should know better than anyone what it feels like to have your talent crippled. But I can tell you with certainty that if the mermaid princess's talent is crippled, she will suffer more than you. Because, for a man she loves, she has been desperately cultivating. She wants to become stronger, stay by this man's side, help him, and take care of him. For this, she can pay any price. Think about it, once she loses her talent, what will she do? She will despair, she will be helpless, she will see no hope and feel that she is no longer worthy of that man. In the end, she might even think of death. Chapter 1730. Despicable, shameless. Give me the wings. Qin Feiyang was furious as he pounced towards the crystal that was floating in the air. However, with a wave of his hand, the crystal immediately landed in his hands. Seeing that Qin Feiyang was about to pounce towards the demon ancestor, Zhao Tailai hurriedly stepped forward and pulled him back, shouting, "Young master, calm down." Qin Feiyang landed on the ground and stared at the demon ancestor with bloodshot eyes. I think you know who the man that the mermaid princess loves is without me telling you. The demon ancestor laughed and said. Qin Feiyang's body trembled as he clutched his chest. His heart felt like it was being twisted by a knife, the pain was unbearable. Of course he knew who this man was. All these years. He had never met the mermaid princess because he was afraid of implicating her. But who would have thought that this silly woman would actually run to the sacred palace and be taken away by the demon ancestor in the end? Man proposes, God disposes. Why was she so stupid? Couldn't she just stay in the sea of despair and wait for him to return? The demon ancestor laughed. Child, decide. Shut up. Who is your child? You are not worthy of being an elder. Qin Feiyang roared. Sigh. If you're obedient, why would I do this? The demon ancestor sighed. Qin Feiyang looked at him gloomily, and said, I have a condition, give me her wings, and I will help you break the seal. Sure. The demon ancestor nodded in agreement without even thinking about it. Give it to me now. Qin Feiyang said. No problem. The demon ancestor nodded. So straightforward? There can't be any conspiracy, right? Zhao Tailai frowned. Wrong. I believe in this child's character. The demon ancestor smiled, and with a wave of his hand, the crystal flew out and arrived in front of Qin Feiyang. Qin Feiyang raised his hands and held the crystal. Looking at the golden wings inside, his eyes became gentle as he muttered, Wait for me, I will definitely save you. After saying that, he decisively put the crystals back into his sea of qi and lifted his head to look at the demon ancestor. He found that Zhuge Mingyang's aura and presence had changed back. Obviously, the fiend ancestor had already retreated. Master really trusts you. He actually gave you the wings first. Zhuge Mingyang snorted. Qin Feiyang didn't beat around the bush and said, Tell me, how do I undo the seal? Zhuge Mingyang said, Use your purple gold dragon soul, purple gold dragon blood, and purple gold dragon qi. So I need these three things. No wonder you and Mu Tianyang are so scheming. Qin Feiyang said. There's no other way. Who asked you to be the only person in the world who can break the seal? To be honest, sometimes I'm quite jealous of you. We're both geniuses of great Qin, so why is there such a huge gap between us? Zhuge Mingyang pouted. Heaven's chosen one? You're not worthy. Qin Feiyang smiled contemptuously and strode towards the lake. If I'm not worthy, are you? Zhuge Mingyang's eyes flashed with a hint of hostility, and then followed behind Qin Feiyang to the lake. Yan Wei had been following beside Zhuge Mingyang the entire time, and didn't say a word. Because the more you talk, the more you'll make mistakes. If he could keep silent, he would do his best to keep silent. Zhuge Mingyang scanned the surface of the lake and said, "The first step is to use your purple gold dragon blood to summon the seal." How? Qin Feiyang asked. Zhuge Mingyang said, "Just drip the purple gold dragon blood into the lake." Qin Feiyang cut his finger. Zhao Tailai suddenly grabbed Qin Feiyang's hand and said in a low voice, "Young master, wait a moment." What's wrong? Qin Feiyang looked at him suspiciously. Zhuge Mingyang and Yan Wei were also puzzled. Mu Tianyang entered the second level before us. If he's really here for Heavenly Lord Mu, he will definitely come here as soon as possible. So before we unlock the seal, I think we should use our divine sense to search the nearby area. Zhao Tailai said. Qin Feiyang thought for a while and nodded. You're very thoughtful. Let's go and have a look. Yes. Zhao Tailai bowed and responded. He rose into the air and stood above the canyon, and his divine sense surged in all directions. Yan Wei said, "Young master, do you want to have a look too?" Zhuge Mingyang waved his hand and said with a smile, "No, Brother Qin's subordinates are enough." Yan Wei glanced at Qin Feiyang and frowned. Aren't you afraid that they'll play tricks? Mu Tianyang and Heavenly Lord Mu are our common enemies. Brother Qin is such a smart person. How can he play tricks? Brother Qin, you're right. Zhuge Mingyang looked at Qin Feiyang and said with a smile. Qin Feiyang didn't want to talk to him at all. Yan Wei didn't say anything more. After a while, Zhao Tailai withdrew his divine sense and landed beside Qin Feiyang. He said respectfully, "Young master, I didn't find any trace of them, nor any trace of the space divine object. They shouldn't have come here yet." Qin Feiyang nodded and looked at the lake. But suddenly, Zhao Tailai said calmly, "Young master, in fact, I found a space divine object on the top of the mountain on the right side of the canyon." Really? Qin Feiyang asked secretly. On the surface, there was no reaction at all. Zhao Tailai said secretly, "I can be sure that it should be Mu Tianyang." Very good. It's only fun when everyone is here. Since they all want it, then I'll fulfill their wish. Qin Feiyang waved his hand, and drops of purple gold dragon blood continuously dripped into the lake. The purple gold dragon blood dissolved as soon as it entered the water. At first, the lake didn't have any reaction. It was as calm as ever. But as more and more purple gold dragon blood flowed into the lake, ripples gradually appeared on the surface of the lake. At the same time, on the top of the mountain on the right side, in the void, inside the space divine object, Mu Tianyang stood with his hands behind his back. Mu Qin, Wang Yuanshan, the four divine marquises, and the emperor of the heavenly sun empire of the Black Tortoise world stood side by side behind Mu Tianyang. The few of them, including Mu Tianyang, were staring at the image in the void in front of them. The scene displayed in the image was the lake where Qin Feiyang was. My lord, after waiting for so many years, this moment is finally here. Mu Qin couldn't hide the excitement on his face. Yeah. I thought we would have to beg Qin Feiyang, but I didn't expect Zhuge Mingyang to have the same goal as us. The world is unpredictable, it's true. Mu Tianyang shook his head and smiled. One of the divine marquises didn't understand. What are Zhuge Mingyang and the demon lord planning? I don't know. Back then when Qin Badian sealed my second brother, I wasn't at the scene. After that, my second brother's remnant soul found me and told me that he was in trouble. By the time I rushed here, Qin Badian had already left. So I don't know what else Qin Badian did. However, the demon lord's plan is definitely not simple. When we get my second brother's divine body, don't hesitate and retreat immediately. If there's anything, wait until we leave the divine ruin. Mu Tianyang said. Yes. Everyone replied respectfully. Mu Qing looked at Zhao Tailai on the screen and asked suspiciously, My lord, do you think Zhao Tailai really didn't notice us? Do you think that's possible? Mu Tianyang smiled. Mu Qing said, Then why didn't he tell Zhuge Mingyang? Mu Tianyang smiled. It's not that he didn't want to tell Zhuge Mingyang, it's that Qin Feiyang didn't want him to tell Zhuge Mingyang. Then why did Qin Feiyang do that? Mu Qing frowned. Don't you know Qin Feiyang? Do you think he'll let the demon lord go after threatening him? Mu Tianyang sneered. Is he trying to stir up trouble? Mu Qing said. That's right. The more people there are, the more chaotic the situation will be. And this is what Qin Feiyang wants. That's why I told you not to get entangled with them later. Qin Feiyang is no longer the young boy from back then. Once he gets the chance, we'll all be finished. Mu Tianyang said. Humph. If it weren't for the fact that we need his help to open the seal here, he would have been a corpse. Mu Qing snorted through his nose. You can't say that. The fact that he's still alive today is largely due to his own efforts. However, when I leave the miracle and return to the Mu family, I'll merge with my body. Together with my second brother, even Ten Qin Feiyang won't be our opponents. Mu Tianyang raised the corner of his mouth, and his eyes flashed with a piercing cold light. During the conversation. Outside, the movement on the lake was getting louder and louder. The ripples that appeared at first had turned into waves, rolling in the lake. Splash. At last. The waves in the lake were more than 100 feet high, covering the sky and the earth. They slapped the shore of the lake, making a deafening sound. Boom. About 10 breaths later. Suddenly, there was a loud muffled sound in the turbulent lake. Following that, a terrifying aura set off 100 feet high wave, roaring out. It's done. Zhuge Mingyang said as he stared at the surface of the lake. Qin Feiyang retracted his arm, and the power of the false god emerged, quickly healing the wound. Rumble. The aura was getting stronger and stronger. Even Qin Feiyang couldn't bear it. It felt like countless mountains were crashing down on him. Even the Grand Canyon began to shake violently. The ground gradually cracked. The surrounding mountains were also slowly collapsing. Retreat. Qin Feiyang said. Zhao Tailai immediately took Qin Feiyang to the sky. Zhuge Mingyang didn't dare to delay. He took Yan Wei and flew to Qin Feiyang and Zhao Tailai. Then the four of them lowered their heads and stared at the lake. Crack. Rumble. The movement was getting more and more intense. Suddenly, the mountains around the canyon all collapsed in an instant, directly burying the lake. Billowing dust and smoke rose in all directions. Zhuge Mingyang hurriedly waved his hand, and a gust of wind suddenly blew the dust and smoke that filled the void into the distance. The scene below was once again displayed in front of their eyes. The ground within a radius of thousands of miles was cracking. Abyssal cracks crazily spread to the end of the earth. And at the location of the lake, mud and gravel were constantly surging up. It seemed that something was crawling up from the ground. Time passed breath by breath. Suddenly, a huge head emerged from the mud. It was a human head, but it was not made of flesh and blood. It was carved out of stone. As the head kept coming out, Qin Feiyang's body suddenly trembled when he saw the face of the stone statue. Chapter 1731. The facial features of the stone statue were well defined. Its eyes were bright and full of spirit. It was like a pair of eyes that could see through everything and the origin of the world. Qin Feiyang would never be able to forget this face. The stone statue was still rising. His upper body and legs gradually appeared. That straight body was like an iron pine, holding a broken sword in his hand. Although it was just a stone statue, it could not hide the innate demeanor of a king. In a trance. Everyone seemed to have seen the birth of an overlord of heaven and earth, and a deep sense of awe arose spontaneously in their hearts. "This is the Qin emperor who has never been seen before," Zhao Tailai murmured. Although he had also stepped into the war god realm, the middle-aged man in front of him made him feel a sense of respect from the bottom of his heart. Suddenly, Zhao Tailai looked down at the foot of the stone statue and exclaimed, "Young master, look at the foot of the stone statue." Not only Qin Feiyang, Zhuge Mingyang, Yan Wei, and Mu Tianyang, who was standing in the space divine object, were all looking at the face of the stone statue at this moment. Hearing Zhao Tailai's words, everyone immediately lowered their heads and looked at the foot of the stone statue. At this moment, everyone's face was filled with shock. Under the feet of the stone statue, there were actually 2 stone coffins. Boom! The stone statue finally rose from the ground completely. It was hundreds of feet high, like a huge mountain, and the invisible aura was overwhelming, making people breathless. He stood on the 2 stone coffins, as if he was using his body to suppress the thing in the coffins. Why are there 2 stone coffins? Qin Feiyang looked at the 2 stone coffins and murmured to himself. Logically speaking, even if the ancestors sealed Mu Tianjun in a stone coffin, there should only be 1 stone coffin. Who was sealed in the other stone coffin? And the shape and size of the 2 stone coffins were almost identical. How could this be? 2 stone coffins, which one is the second brother sealed in? At the same time, Mu Tianyang was also bewildered. However, Zhuge Mingyang was not surprised at all. Instead, he was very excited. "Don't worry, you will be able to break out of the seal very soon." He looked at the sarcophagus under the right foot of the stone statue. His hands were tightly clenched together as he muttered under his breath. Yan Wei glanced at Zhuge Mingyang and transmitted his voice, "Young master, look at Zhuge Mingyang's reaction." Qin Feiyang turned his head to look at Zhuge Mingyang and then at the sarcophagus that Zhuge Mingyang was staring at. A glint flashed across the depths of his eyes. It seemed that the sarcophagus at the foot of the ancestral statue was Zhuge Mingyang's target. Qin Feiyang transmitted his voice, "Old Zhao, get ready." "What is it?" Zhao Tailai was suspicious. "The current situation is somewhat beyond my expectations. I originally thought that Zhuge Mingyang's target was also Mu Tianjuan's divine body. In this way, Zhuge Mingyang and Mu Tianyang will definitely fight in order to snatch Mu Tianjuan's divine body. But now, with the 2 sarcophagi in front of them, their targets are obviously different." Qin Feiyang thought to himself. "You mean, they each take what they want and it will be difficult for them to fight again?" Zhao Tailai asked secretly. "Yes. When the seal is broken later, you must think of a way to make them fight. Even if we don't annihilate them, we must at least make them lose some soldiers here." Qin Feiyang transmitted his voice. "Okay." Zhao Tailai replied secretly. Zhuge Mingyang suppressed the excitement in his heart and turned to Qin Feiyang with a smile, "Brother Qin, you can summon the fighting soul and the purple gold dragon Qi now to break the seal." Qin Feiyang asked, "You only need to summon the fighting soul and the purple gold dragon Qi?" Zhuge Mingyang waved his hand and a grayish-white false god power broke through the air and blasted towards the stone statue. Buzz! Suddenly, a ray of purple gold divine light appeared on the stone statue. Zhuge Mingyang's false god power was blocked by the purple gold divine light and could not hit the stone statue. This purple gold divine light is a layer of protective film that will block all attacks except for your fighting soul and the purple gold dragon Qi. You only need to merge the fighting soul and the purple gold dragon Qi into the stone statue's glabella and the stone statue will collapse. When the stone statue collapses, the seal will be broken. Zhuge Mingyang said. The purple gold dragon blood will summon the seal and the fighting soul and purple gold dragon Qi will break the seal. Qin Feiyang shook his head helplessly. His ancestor really knew how to play and made it so complicated. Roar. With a loud dragon roar, the purple gold dragon's soul rushed out of his body. A mighty dragon force suddenly shrouded the area. Immediately after, Qin Feiyang raised his arm again and wisps of purple gold dragon qi appeared on the tip of his index finger. Quick! Zhuge Mingyang urged impatiently. Get ready. In the space divine item. Mu Tianyang also shouted at the same time. The emperor said, but we still don't know which stone coffin Heaven Lord Mu is sealed in. The one on the left. Mu Tianyang said. How do you know? The emperor was surprised. Zhuge Mingyang has been staring at the stone coffin on the right. Mu Tianyang said. That's right. I noticed it too. Zhuge Mingyang's target is the stone coffin on the right. Then the divine body of Heaven Lord Mu must be sealed in the stone coffin on the left. Get ready. Once the seal is broken, we will attack immediately. Mu Qing said. Wang Yuanshan, the 4 divine marquises and the emperor looked at each other and immediately began to secretly prepare. Outside. Qin Feiyang stared at the stone statue's glabella and said, Old Zhao, are you ready? And Zhao Tai Lai replied secretly. Whoosh. Qin Feiyang took a deep breath and the purple gold dragon qi on his fingertip suddenly broke through the air. At the same time, the purple gold dragon soul in the sky also let out a deafening dragon roar and rushed towards the stone statue's glabella. Swoosh. The purple gold dragon qi and the purple gold dragon soul almost entered the stone statue's glabella at the same time. The purple gold divine light on the stone statue did not stop them at all. Buzz. The stone statue's glabella immediately shone brightly. Crack. Immediately after. Cracks, with the glabella as the center, quickly spread out in all directions. In less than 3 breaths. The cracks spread all over the stone statue like a spider web. Finally, accompanied by a loud sound, the stone statue suddenly disintegrated, turning into pieces of gravel and falling down. It was also at this moment. Zhuge Mingyang immediately sent Yan Wei into the spatial divine item and then took a step forward. With a mysterious step, he rushed towards the stone coffin on the right like lightning. At the same time, Mu Tianyang appeared and also rushed towards the stone coffin on the left without saying a word. Seeing Mu Tianyang suddenly charging out, Zhuge Mingyang's expression froze for a moment before he turned to look at Qin Feiyang. A trace of a sneer crept into his eyes. Obviously, he had already seen through Qin Feiyang's thoughts. However, he did not stop or pay attention to Mu Tianyang and continued to rush towards the stone coffins. However, just as the two of them were about to reach the stone coffins, a terrifying divine power roared out and blasted on the 2 stone coffins. With a loud bang, dust billowed and covered all directions. Caught off guard, Zhuge Mingyang and Mu Tianyang were also sent flying. After being blasted by the divine power, the 2 stone coffins did not shatter. The coffin lids did not open either. However, they flew up at the same time, alternating left and right in the void, passing through layers of dust and smoke, flying into the distance and smashing into a mountain range. The 2 stone coffins were originally exactly the same. After such a mess, it was impossible to tell which one was which. Damn it! Zhuge Mingyang and Mu Tianyang steadied themselves and looked at Zhao Tai Lai gloomily. That's right. It was Zhao Tai Lai who blasted the 2 stone coffins away. Why are you looking at me? Hurry up and find your stone coffins. Zhao Tai Lai laughed. Humph. Zhuge Mingyang and Mu Tianyang snorted coldly and turned into a stream of light, flying towards the mountain range. Looking at the back of the 2, Qin Feiyang's eyes flickered. Just blasting the 2 stone coffins away was not enough to make the 2 of them fight. Suddenly, an idea came to him and he pulled Tang Hai out. What's the matter? Tang Hai frowned. Qin Feiyang waved his hand and the power of the false god condensed into an old figure in the void. It was the Imperial Preceptor. You disguise yourself as the Imperial Preceptor and go over immediately, snatched the 2 stone coffins before Mu Tianyang and Zhuge Mingyang. Qin Feiyang said. And then? Tang Hai asked. Qin Feiyang said, then it's up to you. Tang Hai said, we just need to get them to fight, right? Yes. Qin Feiyang nodded. Understood. A cold light flashed in Tang Hai's eyes, and he immediately turned and flew into the void, silently flying over there. This guy, he didn't even disguise himself in front of us. Old Zhao, do you know what he looks like? Qin Feiyang asked suspiciously. I don't know. It can be said that no one in the entire Black Tortoise world has seen his true appearance. I'm also curious. Zhao Tailai said. Is it because he's too ugly and he's afraid of scaring us? It seems that we have to set up a trap and take off his mask to see what he looks like. Qin Feiyang laughed. Set up a trap. Zhao Tailai was a little speechless. Set up a trap just to see what Tang Hai looks like. That's a bit exaggerated. Qin Feiyang said, we'll talk about this later. Let's go and take a look first. Zhao Tailai immediately waved his hand, rolled up Qin Feiyang, and chased after Mu Tianyang and Tang Hai. After pondering for a while, Zhao Tailai said in a deep voice, Young master, if they really fight later, it may lead to an unprecedented divine battle. You have to be prepared in advance. Before entering the divine site, I was already prepared. Qin Feiyang clenched his fists, and a piercing cold light flashed in his eyes. Zhao Tailai took a deep look at Qin Feiyang. It seemed that he worried too much. Suddenly, Qin Feiyang seemed to have thought of something. He took out the rusty axe, handed it to Zhao Tailai, and said with a smile, This axe is for you. Don't be fooled by its appearance. In fact, it's a very terrifying divine weapon. I even have a hunch that it won't be worse than the dagger on Tang Hai. Thank you. Zhao Tailai took the axe, his expression full of gratitude. He had already seen how terrifying the axe was, so not only did he not underestimate it, he liked it very much. Back to Mu Tianyang and Zhuge Mingyang. At this moment, the two had already swept over the mountain range. Under the impact of the 2 stone coffins, the mountains and the earth within a radius of hundreds of miles were shattered. In the middle, there were 2 large pits that were hundreds of feet deep. Chapter 1732. Mu Tianyang asked, Did you see clearly which sarcophagus is yours? Zhao Tailai attacked too suddenly, I didn't notice at all. Zhuge Mingyang shook his head. Mu Tianyang said, Then let's each choose one and open the sarcophagus to confirm. If it's not yours, we'll exchange immediately. Deal. But don't play any tricks. Zhuge Mingyang said. Don't worry. We're just taking what we need. Mu Tianyang said and rushed towards one of the sarcophagus. But at this moment, a white-haired old man appeared and rushed towards the sarcophagus like lightning. Imperial Preceptor. Mu Tianyang saw the old man and was immediately furious. Ancestor. Zhuge Mingyang's face was filled with joy. Mu Tianyang, don't think about getting any of these 2 sarcophagi. The Imperial Preceptor sneered and rushed to the front of the sarcophagus. With a wave of his old hand, the sarcophagus disappeared immediately. Then, he flew towards the other sarcophagus. You're courting death. Mu Tianyang was furious and rushed towards Zhuge Mingyang. Mu Tianyang, what are you doing? Zhuge Mingyang was shocked and shouted. You started it first. Mu Tianyang roared and threw a punch at Zhuge Mingyang. Zhuge Mingyang's face darkened and he threw out a palm. The power of the false god rolled out. Boom! The fist and the palm met in an instant. Both of them were sent flying at the same time. Zhuge Mingyang spat out blood. Mu Tianyang's divine sense body was also on the verge of collapse. Although Zhuge Mingyang's false god power had an innate advantage, Mu Tianyang was about to condense his divine soul. As a war god, his strength was naturally not comparable to an ordinary false god. The battle prowess of the two could be considered to be evenly matched. Zhuge Mingyang wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth and raised his head to look at Mu Tianyang. He frowned and said, "I didn't know Ancestor was nearby." It was also at this moment the imperial tutor put away the other sarcophagus. He looked at Zhuge Mingyang and shouted, "This old man has already become a war god. Why should I be afraid of him?" "That's true." Zhuge Mingyang was stunned for a moment before he nodded and smiled. Good, good, good. You guys are amazing." Mu Tianyang was so angry that he laughed. Wang Yuanshan, the four divine overlords, and the emperor appeared beside him in an instant. Mu Tianyang turned to look at the Black Tortoise World's Heavenly Sun Empire's Emperor Lord and said, "Mu Nanfeng, I'll leave the imperial preceptor to you. You must snatch my second brother's divine body back. Leave it to me." Mu Nanfeng nodded. "The rest of you, follow me to take down Zhuge Mingyang." Mu Tianyang roared again. "Yes." Wang Yuanshan and the others replied respectfully. They then followed Mu Tianyang and charged towards Zhuge Mingyang. At the same time, Mu Nanfeng looked at the imperial preceptor with murderous intent in his eyes and said, "You're not the only one who has become a war god. Is that so?" The imperial preceptor sneered. Boom! The Emperor Lord's body shook and a terrifying divine aura exploded. It was a pure divine aura. He really is a war god. The imperial preceptor was surprised. Zhuge Fengtian raised his eyebrows and reminded, "Ancestor, be careful. He's the Emperor Lord of the Black Tortoise World's Heavenly Sun Empire. Don't underestimate him." "What kind of place is the Black Tortoise World?" The imperial preceptor was stunned and asked suspiciously. "Now's not the time to talk about this," Zhuge Mingyang said. He then turned and looked at Mu Tianyang and the others. "All right. Tell me slowly after we've taken care of them." With that, the imperial preceptor shouted, "Qin Feiyang is still behind us. Don't waste any time and end this quickly." "Yes." Zhuge Mingyang nodded and raised his head to look at Mu Tianyang and the others. He smiled and said, "What a bunch of reckless fools." Roar! A huge bone dragon soared into the sky. Innate divine ability, activated instantly. The cultivation of Wang Yuanshan and the others immediately plummeted. Peak Realm 9-star War Emperor. 9-star War Emperor. 8-star War Emperor. 7-star War Emperor. What? The few of them turned pale with fright. Without any hesitation, they immediately turned around and fled. If their cultivation was the same, even though Zhuge Mingyang's false god power had an innate advantage, they were confident in fighting. However, their cultivation was directly suppressed to 7-star War Emperor. There was no way they could continue fighting. Even Mu Tianyang had no choice but to retreat. Zhuge Mingyang looked at the four divine overlords and sneered, "Divine overlords, right? I'll kill you first." As soon as he finished speaking, he took a step forward and landed behind one of the divine overlords. With a slap, the grayish-white false god power gushed out, containing a destructive aura. Without any power to fight back, the divine overlord's body was torn into pieces on the spot. Blood splattered everywhere. Yeah. He got rid of one so quickly. At this time, Qin Feiyang and Zhao Tailai, who had rushed over, were surprised when they saw this scene. This speed was somewhat beyond imagination. War God's aura. Qin Feiyang was stunned. He turned to look at Mu Nanfeng and said in surprise, "He has actually broken through to the War God realm? That's not strange." In the Black Tortoise realm, his cultivation had already reached stage 10. After the devil imprint is removed, he will naturally break through to the War God realm like me. Zhao Tailai said. Qin Feiyang nodded in realization and said with a smile, I almost forgot about this person. Then he looked at Wang Yuanshan again, the murderous intent in his eyes undisguised. Oh no, Qin Feiyang is here too. Wang Yuanshan felt a shocking murderous intent. When he turned his head and saw Qin Feiyang not far away, his expression changed drastically. Zhuge Mingyang was about to kill another divine overlord, but when he heard Wang Yuanshan's words, he frowned and shouted, Ancestor, let's retreat first. The Imperial Grandmaster immediately looked at Qin Feiyang with murderous intent in his eyes. Boom! At the same time, a shocking sharpness rushed out of Mu Tianyang's body. He stared at Zhuge Mingyang with a sinister gaze, and said, You killed this monarch's men, and you still want to withdraw just like that? Do you think that's possible? Zhuge Mingyang said angrily, If we continue fighting like this, it will only benefit Qin Feiyang. He might not be able to take advantage of us. Mu Tianyang waved his hand and the blood blade immediately appeared. The sharpness tore the sky and split the earth. At the same time, it carried a nauseating stench. Heaven-defying divine artifact. Zhuge Mingyang's pupils constricted. Qin Feiyang glanced at Zhuge Mingyang and Mu Tianyang, then glanced at the Imperial Grandmaster and laughed, This old Tang did well. For Tang Hai, this is a piece of cake. Zhao Tailai thought. That's right. The Imperial Grandmaster in front of everyone was not the real Imperial Grandmaster, but Tang Hai. Wake up. Mu Tianyang let out a furious roar. His divine sense rushed into the blood blade. Clang! The blood blade vibrated in the air as its divine power rushed towards Zhuge Mingyang's divine ability. Kacha! All of a sudden, accompanied by an ear-piercing sound, Zhuge Mingyang's divine ability finally collapsed. Among the three divine overlords, Wang Yuanshan's cultivation was restored to the false god realm. Kill! The four divine overlords roared as they used their strongest divine arts and charged towards Zhuge Mingyang with a murderous aura. Zhuge Mingyang frowned. The bone dragon fighting soul swooped down and crashed into the four great divine arts. Rumble. Kacha. The mountains and the earth shattered and sank. The four divine arts exploded in the air as a destructive aura roared in all directions. Zhuge Mingyang's fighting soul was also shattered at the same time. He retreated as blood flowed from the corner of his mouth and his face turned pale. However, before he could stabilize himself, the blood blade shattered the sky and charged towards him. Zhuge Mingyang quickly dodged to the side. The blood blade swept past his face, leaving a deep cut on his face. How dare you hurt me? Zhuge Mingyang touched the wound on his face and looked at the blood on his fingertips. A terrifying aura gradually emerged. This is unforgivable. Suddenly, he raised his head and stared at Mu Tianyang as he said word by word, I will make you pay. 6 words killing art, sever word art. Zhuge Mingyang roared as he waved his hand. A shocking light swept out and slashed towards Mu Tianyang as though it had teleported. Mu Tianyang's divine sense body was immediately split into 2 and a few hundred strands of divine sense were destroyed by the light. 6 words killing art, what kind of divine art is this? Even the demon ancestor did not have such a divine art. Mu Tianyang was shocked. The power of the sever word art had already surpassed that of a high-grade divine art. He quickly looked at Wang Yuanshan and the other 3 and shouted, Come over immediately and revive the blood blade with me. The 4 of them quickly rushed to Mu Tianyang's side. The blood blade also streaked across the sky and floated above Mu Tianyang's head. Wang Yuanshan and the other 3 looked at each other as their false god power surged out and entered the blood blade. With the addition of Wang Yuanshan and the other 3, the sharpness of the blood blade became more and more terrifying. Zhao Tailai glanced at Wang Yuanshan and said, Young master, it seems that Wang Yuanshan is indeed under Mu Tianyang's control. There's no doubt about it. Qin Feiyang said. Zhao Tailai asked, Then what should we do now? Qin Feiyang transmitted his voice, "Go kill Tang Hai." Kill Tang Hai? Zhao Tailai was stunned. Pretend to kill Tang Hai and let the Imperial Emperor be careless, then give him a fatal blow. We can spare Mu Tianyang, but this person must die. Qin Feiyang thought. Why must we kill Mu Nanfeng? Zhao Tailai was puzzled. Compared to Mu Nanfeng, Mu Tianyang was a bigger threat. So his name is Mu Nanfeng. Mu Tianyang has a heaven-defying divine artifact. It's not that easy to kill him, but Mu Nanfeng is easy to deal with. However, Mu Nanfeng is a god of war after all. If we don't get rid of him now, he and Mu Tianyang will definitely cause us a lot of trouble when they return to the Great Qin. Qin Feiyang thought. I see. Zhao Tailai nodded his head in realization. Swoosh. In the next moment, he teleported and rushed toward Mu Nanfeng and Tang Hai. Ancestor, be careful. Mu Nanfeng, be careful. Seeing this, Zhuge Mingyang and Mu Tianyang's expressions changed. They hurriedly reminded Mu Nanfeng and Tang Hai, their eyes fixed on Zhao Tailai. Mu Nanfeng and Tang Hai were also quite nervous at this moment. Because Zhao Tailai's participation would break the balance here. Of course. Tang Hai was just pretending. Very soon, Zhao Tailai rushed to Mu Nanfeng's side. Mu Nanfeng thought that Zhao Tailai would attack him first and was ready to fight back. However, Zhao Tailai brushed past him without looking back and shouted, "Come with me to kill the imperial tutor." Mu Nanfeng was stunned and was immediately overjoyed. He immediately teleported and followed behind Zhao Tailai, charging toward the imperial tutor with murderous intent. However, he did not let down his guard against Zhao Tailai. Because the Tianyang Empire and Qin Feiyang did not form an alliance, in such a situation, there could be changes at any time. Chapter 1733. What do you mean? Tang Hai was stunned. Zhao Tailai, this bastard, actually attacked him? Tang Hai quickly began to retreat and transmitted his voice, "Bastard, it's me. I know it's you." Zhao Tailai secretly said. Then why did you kill me? Tang Hai said angrily. Zhao Tailai's eyes flashed with a hint of ridicule as he secretly said, "This is the young master's order, I can only obey." What? The young master asked you to kill me? Tang Hai was furious. That's right. Zhao Tailai transmitted his voice. Tang Hai glanced at Qin Feiyang in the distance and secretly said angrily, "Why? Did I do something wrong?" The young master said that you're a little unreliable. I think what the young master said makes sense. A guy who doesn't dare to show his true face is definitely not a good person. Zhao Tailai said. What the hell? Just because of this? Tang Hai was very depressed. Yes. Don't make a futile struggle. You know what the young master is capable of. If he wants to kill you, it's useless even if you hide in the sky. Zhao Tailai secretly said. Bastard. Since you're heartless, don't blame me for being unjust. I'll immediately tell Zhuge Mingyang and the others my identity. Tang Hai said angrily. Oh no. This is too much. Zhao Tailai's heart trembled as he hurriedly said, Don't be impulsive, I'm just joking with you. Why don't you think the young master will kill you for this reason? Joking? Tang Hai was stunned and immediately flew into a rage. He secretly shouted, Is this the time to joke? Instead of retreating, he rushed toward Zhao Tailai. Don't use your divine power. Zhuge Mingyang knows the state preceptor well. If he sees that your divine power is different from the state preceptor, he will definitely find out that you're an impostor. Zhao Tailai hurriedly said. Nonsense. Do I need you to remind me of such a simple thing? What's the young master's plan? Tang Hai was furious and threw a punch at Zhao Tailai. Kill Mu Nanfeng. Kill him in one blow. Zhao Tailai thought to himself as he threw a punch at Tang Hai with all his might. He did not use any divine power, but their eyes were filled with murderous intent. Those who didn't know would really think that they had some kind of blood feud. Boom! The two fists collided. Both of them spat out a mouthful of blood at the same time and were sent flying. Zhao Tailai shouted, "This is your chance. Mu Nanfeng, quick! I don't need you to remind me. I know." A cold light flickered in Mu Nanfeng's eyes as he teleported in front of Tang Hai and slammed his palm onto Tang Hai's chest. His quasi-divinity force surged as he roared, "Go to hell." After Zhao Tai stabilized his body, he immediately rushed over murderously. Mu Nanfeng thought that Zhao Tailai was going to help kill Tang Hai and let his guard down slightly. This was exactly what Zhao Tailai wanted. Just as Mu Nanfeng's palm landed on Tang Hai's chest, Zhao Tailai arrived beside Mu Nanfeng. The rusty axe appeared in an instant. He grabbed the axe and looked directly at Mu Nanfeng's head. A deadly sense of danger engulfed Mu Nanfeng. Immediately, he sensed that something was wrong. But it was too late for him to realize it now. The axe fell. Although it was rusty, its edge was extremely terrifying. Ah! Accompanied by a terrified scream, Mu Nanfeng's head was chopped off on the spot. Blood spurted out a few meters away and dyed the void red. His target is actually Mu Nanfeng, Mu Tianyang, Wang Yuanshan, the three divine marquises, and Zhuge Mingyang were dumbfounded when they saw this unforeseen event. At first, they all thought that Zhao Tailai's target was the national master. However, they never thought that this was just a show put on by Zhao Tailai. "Well done," Qin Feiyang murmured. Zhao Tailai looked at Mu Nanfeng, who had fallen down and was in a daze at this moment. "I actually killed a god of war." Although he was the one who chopped off Mu Nanfeng's head, he still couldn't get used to this scene. Because this was the first time in his life that he had killed a god of war. Tang Hai glanced at Mu Nanfeng's body and looked at Zhao Tailai. He transmitted his voice, "Does it feel good?" "Good, very good." "This is a completely different feeling from killing a false god," Zhang Xian said. Zhao Tailai secretly said. His arm that was holding the axe was trembling. This wasn't fear. It was excitement. Enjoy it well. After all, when you kill more in the future, you won't feel this way anymore. Tang Hai whispered to Zhao Tai as he rushed towards Zhao Tailai aggressively. "Still want to fight?" Zhao Tailai was stunned. Tang Hai secretly said, "Of course, I have to put on a show." Bang! 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 The two immediately engaged in a fierce battle in the void. However, although it looked fierce, the two of them didn't suffer any fatal injuries. "Qin Feiyang, you damn bastard. What good will it do you to kill Mu Nanfeng?" At this moment, Mu Tianyang also came back to his senses and turned to look at Qin Feiyan. No matter what, the state preceptor and Zhuge Mingyang are also people of the great Qin. If I want to deal with someone, I will definitely deal with you first. Qin Feiyang said lightly. Brother Qin is indeed a reasonable person. Zhuge Mingyang laughed. Qin Feiyang took a step forward and landed behind Mu Tianyang. He looked at Zhuge Mingyang and said, "I will hold Mu Tianyang back. You take care of the three divine marquises and Wang Yuanshan." Zhuge Mingyang glanced at Wang Yuanshan and the other three and sneered. "As long as we don't have that heaven-defying divine artifact, killing them is as easy as killing dogs. But before that, can you ask Zhao Tailai to stop?" "No." Qin Feiyang shook his head. "What do you mean? Don't you know that with our strength, it is impossible to kill Mu Tianyang?" Zhuge Mingyang said angrily. "Of course I know." Qin Feiyang said. "Then why are you doing this? If Zhao Tailai stops fighting with the ancestor and comes over to help us, then even if Mu Tianyang hides in a divine artifact, we can still easily take care of him." Zhuge Mingyang shouted. "Do you think I don't know what your ancestor is like? If he really comes over, he might stab me in the back. So for safety reasons, let Zhao Tailai play with him over there. Qin Feiyang sneered and waved his hand. The ancient castle appeared. Boom! The power of the three false gods surged out, and the ancient castle immediately released a world-destroying might. He didn't waste any more words with Zhuge Mingyang. He grabbed the ancient castle and threw it at the blood blade. Bastard! Zhuge Mingyang cursed and also looked at Wang Yuanshan and the other three. Qin Feiyang, you forced me to do this. Mu Tianyang laughed angrily. He controlled the blood blade and fearlessly chopped towards the ancient castle. He then shouted at Wang Yuanshan and the other three, the four of you, no matter what method you use, you must kill Zhuge Mingyang for me. What? The four of them turned pale. They thought that Mu Tianyang would choose to retreat in the face of Zhuge Mingyang and Qin Feiyang. Even if he didn't retreat, he would send them to a divine artifact first. After all, they were no match for Zhuge Mingyang. However, they didn't expect that not only did Mu Tianyang not do that, but he also asked them to kill Zhuge Mingyang. What was the difference between this and asking them to die? They also felt aggrieved. No matter what, they were veteran semi-divinities, yet they were actually so fearful of a junior. Mu Tianyang glanced at the four and said word by word, kill him even if you have to self-destruct. Self-destruct. The four of them trembled. You don't want to go? Then I'll cripple you now. Anyway, you're just a bunch of trash, I don't need you. Mu Tianyang's face became extremely ferocious. The four of them suddenly trembled and shouted, Zhuge Mingyang, come with us if you have the guts. The four of them immediately ran away. A bunch of trash, how dare you shout at me? Zhuge Mingyang calmly chased after them, his face full of disdain. Wang Yuanshan looked back at Zhuge Mingyang and said, three divine overlords, do you have any ideas? Zhuge Mingyang's false god power is strange, but we can resist it if we work together. The only thing we're worried about is his war soul. Yeah. His war soul's talent is too terrifying. Once it engulfs us, we'll definitely die. The three divine overlords said, their eyes full of wariness. Wang Yuanshan said, but Mu Tianyang said that we have to kill him. There's only one way. One of the divine overlords said. What way? The three of them turned to look at him. The deity overlord said, although Zhuge Mingyang's innate divine ability is terrifying, it is limited by distance. As long as we don't fight him in close combat and maintain a certain distance, his innate divine ability will not affect us. Wang Yuanshan's eyes lit up and said, that's right, use a divine art to wear him down. Our cultivation isn't any weaker than his, we can wear him down. Let's do that. The three divine overlords nodded. In the blink of an eye. Clang. The ancient castle and the blood blade, the two heaven-defying divine artifacts, finally clashed. The moment they met, dazzling sparks burst out. The destructive aura was earth-shattering, shattering the void for thousands of miles. Fortunately, Wang Yuanshan and the other three had foresight and didn't fight with Zhuge Mingyang. Otherwise, the aura alone would have been enough to injure them. Young Master and Mu Tianyang are finally going to fight. Zhao Tailai turned to look at Qin Feiyang and murmured. Don't look over there, your opponent is me. Tang Hai raised his eyebrows. Opponent? We're just putting on an act. Zhao Tailai rolled his eyes. Although it's just an act, I'd like to see which of us is the young master's number one warrior. Tang Hai said. What do you mean? You really want to fight with me? Zhao Tailai was stunned and frowned. You don't dare? Tang Hai looked at him provocatively. What a joke. In this world, is there anything that I, Zhao Tailai, don't dare to do? But before we fight, can I ask you a question? Zhao Tailai thought. What question? Tang Hai was suspicious. Zhao Tailai said, is it really like what the young master said? Is it because you're too ugly that you don't dare to show your true face? I'm ugly? Tang Hai was stunned and said, "Are you sure this is what the young master said?" "Yes. That's what the young master guessed." Zhao Tai chuckled. "How boring." Tang Hai snorted and stared at Zhao Tai, saying, "Cut the crap, come on. For the title of the #1 warrior, I won't lose to you." Zhao Tai smiled proudly. Bang! Bang! The two of them continued to collide in the void, causing the void to collapse and even the heavens and earth to lose their color. Looking at the situation, they weren't putting on an act. The power contained in each of their punches was enough to seriously injure the other party. Although they didn't use the false god's power, divine skills, or fighting souls, their battle was more exciting than the battle between Qin Feiyang and Mu Tianyang. Chapter 1734. On the other side. The battle between Zhuge Mingyang and Wang Yuanshan and the other three had also begun. As planned, the four of them had been keeping a safe distance from Zhuge Mingyang. When Zhuge Mingyang advanced, they retreated. When Zhuge Mingyang retreated, they advanced. They used their divine arts and fighting souls to fight a war of attrition with Zhuge Mingyang. Don't say. This method of fighting was quite effective. Zhuge Mingyang had been in a passive state of defense. Although his divine powers could also weaken the power of his divine arts and fighting souls, he did not dare to use them casually in a war of attrition. Because the divine powers came from the fighting souls. The fighting souls could not be used for a long time and would eventually be exhausted. The same went for the divine powers. Therefore, he had to save them for the critical moment. As a result, Zhuge Mingyang was in a very sullen situation. He had the ability to kill the four of them in seconds, but he had to slowly wear them down. Clang! Clang! The battle between Qin Feiyang and Mu Tianyang had also reached its climax. The two heaven-defying artifacts collided with each other under the control of the two. The mountains and rivers shattered and the earth sank. Mu Tianyang was really angry. Mu Tianjuan's divine body was stolen. A divine lord was killed. Mu Nanfeng, the god of war, was also killed by Zhao Tai. It was a heavy loss. In fact, Mu Tianyang could have escaped. But his pride did not allow him to do so. Moreover, Mu Tianjuan's divine body was still in Tang Hai's hands. In other words, even if he wanted to escape, he had to take back Mu Tianjuan's divine body first. As the power of the false god and divine sense kept pouring in, the power of the two divine weapons became more and more terrifying. Mu Tianyang sneered. "You're just a false god. It's too difficult for you to recover the divine weapons. Even if you have 3 kinds of false god power, you can't defeat me. Give up. Your situation is worse than mine. Even if the quasi-divinity energy is exhausted, it can still recover in a short period of time. As for the divine sense you've consumed, if you want to recover, Qin Feiyang grinned. The meaning behind his words was obvious. He was not afraid of wasting time. Mu Tianyang's heart sank. This was exactly what he was thinking about. It was easy for him to recover his quasi-divinity energy, but it would take him a very long time to gather even a sliver of his spiritual perception. He couldn't afford to waste time. But now, he had no other choice. If he didn't take back Mu Tianjun's divine body, he would definitely be killed by the Grand Tutor. In fact, he had never wanted to confront Qin Feiyang head-on. Because Qin Feiyang also had a heaven-defying divine artifact, if they really fought, it would definitely be a situation where both sides would suffer. That was why he had planned to snatch Mu Tianjuan's divine body and retreat immediately. However, he never expected that the Imperial Tutor would appear midway. What was even more unexpected was that Qin Feiyang would actually team up with Zhuge Mingyang. Such a situation was extremely unfavorable for him. And to reverse this situation, the only way was to break the alliance between Qin Feiyang and Zhuge Mingyang. But how could he break the alliance between the two of them? Right. The Fiend Ancestor. This person is the best fuse. Mu Tianyang's eyes lit up. While controlling the bloody blade to fight with the castle, he said, "How much do you know about the fiend ancestor?" Qin Feiyang was startled and thought, "I've only heard rumors about him." "Then do you know how he died?" Mu Tianyang asked. "It's said that he was killed by a trap set by two gods of war." Qin Feiyang frowned slightly. He couldn't figure out why Mu Tianyang suddenly mentioned the fiend ancestor. "Then do you know who those two gods of war are?" Mu Tianyang asked again. "I don't know." Qin Feiyang shook his head. Mu Tianyang said, "I'll tell you now, those two gods of war are my ancestor and your ancestor." "What?" Qin Feiyang's gaze trembled. This answer was simply too surprising. The fiend ancestor was actually killed by the ancestor and Mu Tianyang? Back then, when my Tianyang Empire ruled the mountains and rivers and was at the peak of its glory, the fiend ancestor suddenly appeared. At that time, he stirred up trouble and committed all kinds of crimes, killing countless living beings. As the emperor of the Tianyang Empire at that time, I naturally couldn't stand by and do nothing. After finding the fiend ancestor's lair, I immediately led dozens of martial marquis of the Tianyang Empire and charged into the fiend ancestor's lair. But, at this point, between Mu Tianyang's brows crawled up a painful expression. Qin Feiyang frowned and asked, "The fiend ancestor's lair is in the Sea of Reincarnation?" "That's right. His lair is in the deepest part of the Sea of Reincarnation." At that time, the dozens of martial marquis that I brought were all pseudo-god level existences. Originally, I was full of confidence and thought that with this strength, I would definitely be able to get rid of the fiend ancestor. But when the battle broke out, I realized that I was too wrong. The strength of the fiend ancestor and the demon dragon was simply beyond imagination. Dozens of martial marquis were instantly annihilated, not a single one was left. At that time, I had already stepped into the war god realm, but in the end, I was still able to escape with the help of the blood blade. Mu Tianyang said in a deep voice. "So strong." Qin Feiyang's mind trembled. Even Mu Tianyang, who possessed a heaven-defying divine artifact and had already stepped into the war god realm, could only escape. Qin Feiyang asked, "Then what about my ancestor at that time?" "At that time, your ancestor had already risen, and his strength was on par with mine. But at that time, the war between him and me had yet to completely erupt. That time, when I failed to eliminate the fiend ancestor, I fled from the Sea of Reincarnation. But because the losses were too heavy, many elders and ministers in the imperial court were quite dissatisfied with me, and the foundation of the Heaven and Earth Empire slowly began to shake. It was also at that time that I thought of your ancestor. To be honest, at that time, your ancestor and I were just like you and Mu Qing in the past." Mu Tianyang said. "Me and Mu Qing?" Qin Feiyang raised his eyebrows. "Yes. Both enemies and friends. I clearly remember that when I found your ancestor and told him about the fiend ancestor's situation, he didn't say anything and joined forces with me to enter the Sea of Reincarnation. At that time, my second brother, Mu Tianjun, also went with us." Mu Tianyang said. "This is not beyond my expectations. With my ancestor's personality, he definitely wouldn't sit back and do nothing." Qin Feiyang said. "Yes. Your ancestor is the person I hate the most in my life, but also the person I admire the most." Mu Tianyang sighed deeply and said, "Your ancestor, my second brother, and I entered the Sea of Reincarnation. After some discussion, we set up a killing trap." "What kind of killing trap?" Qin Feiyang asked. Clang. The bloody blade and the ancient castle were still fighting, and the sky was falling and the earth was cracking, as if doomsday had arrived. Mu Tianyang looked up at the bloody blade, as if he was immersed in his memories. After a long while, he transmitted his voice, "My second brother is the core of this assassination plot." "Mu Tianjun?" Qin Feiyang asked. "Yes. The first step was for my second brother to lure away the fiend ancestor's mount, the fiend dragon. Because the fiend dragon's strength was almost on par with the fiend ancestor, if we didn't separate them, we wouldn't have any hope of killing the fiend ancestor. At that time, my second brother's cultivation was about the same as mine and your ancestors, but the fatal thing was that he didn't have a heaven-defying divine artifact. You can imagine how dangerous my second brother's situation was at that time. However, when your ancestor and I proposed this plan, my second brother didn't say much. In the end, he succeeded in luring the fiend dragon away, giving your ancestor and I enough time to kill the fiend ancestor, even though we had to pay a great price for it. To be honest, my second brother was the real hero at that time. Mu Tianyang sighed. What price? Qin Feiyang asked. Mu Tianyang said, his divine soul was almost destroyed, and in the end, he had to use his flame of life to save his life. Qin Feiyang said, in terms of that battle, your second brother is indeed admirable. Yes. Without the fiend dragon, the pressure on your ancestor and I was a lot less. At that time, your ancestor and I each had a heaven-defying divine artifact. You might think that with two heaven-defying divine artifacts, wouldn't it be easy to kill the fiend ancestor? Mu Tianyang said. Qin Feiyang nodded. He knew the power of a heaven-defying divine artifact better than anyone. For example, although he was only a false god, with the Chang Shui and the castle, he could fight against the god of war and not be at a disadvantage. Your ancestor and I thought so too. We would definitely get rid of the fiend ancestor quickly. But in fact, it was the opposite. The fiend ancestor also had a heaven-defying divine artifact. Your ancestor and I fought with him for a few days and nights in the reincarnation ocean. In the end, we were almost exhausted and finally crushed the fiend ancestor's divine soul. Mu Tianyang sighed. What? He also had a heaven-defying divine artifact? Qin Feiyang was shocked. That's right. I remember that his heaven-defying divine artifact was a snowflake. And like my blood blade, it emitted a pungent stench. Mu Tianyang said. Snowflake? Qin Feiyang was surprised. Yes. When your ancestor and I saw that snowflake, we were also very surprised. How could a snowflake be a heaven-defying divine artifact? But in fact, it is a heaven-defying divine artifact. Mu Tianyang said. Qin Feiyang asked curiously, speaking of which, what's with the stench of your blood blade? Mu Tianyang's mouth twitched and said with a wry smile, it's funny. You definitely won't believe it. What? Qin Feiyang became more and more curious. Mu Tianyang said, I found it in a cesspool. What the hell? Cesspool? Qin Feiyang was shocked. Are you kidding? How could a heaven-defying divine artifact be in a cesspool? I told you, you definitely won't believe it. But this is absolutely true. I remember at that time, it was sealed in that cesspool. After so many years, the stench still hasn't dissipated. I don't know how many years it has been sealed. To be honest, if it wasn't for the fact that it's a heaven-defying divine artifact, I wouldn't want to keep it by my side. Mu Tianyang said helplessly. So that's how it is. Qin Feiyang suddenly understood. He raised his head and looked at the blood blade. He couldn't help but want to laugh. A heaven-defying divine artifact was actually sealed in a cesspool? This was more than funny. But then again, who was so wicked? One had to know. You're tuning into the Biyao's Wuxia Chronicles YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.